Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. This is going to be another episode of SNTR Gaming News, and wanted to talk about the high watermark system in New World now that the devs have clarified exactly how it works. I open up the video with that segment, and we do it in this scene, and I record it, but this is a live stream, so it ends up being about a 3-hour stream. If you like those types of streams and that type of content, hit subscribe and the bell button so you don't miss my content. This is an SNTR update. The New World watermark system is one that has caused some players confusion, frustration, or anything in between. And the high watermark system is how it works once you get to level 60. The devs recently took to the forums to explain how it works, and I wanted to walk through the good, the bad, and how to improve this system. We will also start trying to do explained videos for the SNTR Gaming channel, but here on Updates, we try to just give you those quick updates. If you like this kind of content, hit subscribe and the bell button, or check out SNTR Gaming where I stream this live. So what's the good with how they do the high watermark system? I would say one of the first things I notice about this, it is basically slot leveling. Now, slot leveling is something that me especially, really campaign for in Destiny when we covered that game. And the idea is that if you get a pair of boots that are a higher gear score, it raises the gear score of that slot. So in the future, when you get boots to drop, they have the likelihood of raising the gear score of that slot. So if your total gear score is being held back by something, or you have a piece that's lower, that doesn't matter. I think that's one of the good aspects of how they do the high watermark system. Another thing is it really sets a solid trajectory for the player. It allows the player to go out with a certain level of confidence and know that they will be getting drops, increasing that gear score dependent upon what they're currently watermarked for, meaning you don't even actually have to equip the gear. That's probably another good thing about it, that you don't have to actually equip the gear. It sort of internally sees this. Now, this, I think, mostly respects the player's time. That is one of the good elements of this high watermark system in New World, is that for the most part, it's respecting your time. But I want to talk about some of the bad elements of how it currently is set up. Some of the grinds are suboptimal. So when you get to the end game and you're level 60 and you're really wanting to raise that gear score up to max gear score level, you're going to be trying to find all the various ways to do it. Similar to my coverage of their leveling philosophy, my concern is that when you choke or strangle or make some of the ways of getting your gear score to go up, you make it inefficient or suboptimal, folks are going to try to find exploits. Currently, there does not seem to be an exploit or a shortcut, but much of the end game areas or higher level enemy areas are, not exactly the best places to go. And that has something to do with another element of what I think is bad about this system. RNG for leveling just feels unnecessary. In my mind, the amount of gear that drops that you're not even going to use, the amount of gear that drops that you're not even interested in, I think it's completely acceptable to say every time a piece of armor or, a weapon drops or whatever, it's going to give you that small incremental bump on your gear score. There is a chance that you won't even get a bump when something drops. I've never been a big fan of that. That was something that we railed against in the Destiny leveling system for similar reasons. Expeditions are one of the better places to go for, level increase on your gear score. However, the tuning orb grind is a slog. It was good to see the devs acknowledge this, that some of the grinds are suboptimal and that the tuning orb is a bit of a slog. So I want to end the video saying how to improve this system to make it a little bit better. Minimizing RNG as much as possible would be one of the first things that I would say would be a helpful way to increase player morale as well as response to this system whenever it's in action. Secondly, make that tuning orb less time consuming so players that want to grind those expeditions can. I think it's appropriate to have areas of the game that are more consistently rewarding for endgame drops, and the expeditions seem to be a great place to do that. And have the game make this a bit more clearer. It's not really explained that you don't have to equip the gear. It's an automatic thing, and that is respectful of the player's time. But if the player doesn't know it, you can't expect them to celebrate the system. As always, if you like these short video game updates, hit subscribe and the bell button, or check out SNTR Gaming, where I stream live every day. And if you're here live right now, thank you for being here, and thank you for the birthday wishes. And yes, behind me, my family infiltrated the studio, and so we're going all blue today because it makes their hard work on their just absolutely adorable and precious artwork. It makes it look a little bit better if we go all blue. So we greatly appreciate the birthday wishes. Thank you, East Coast Overlord, for the 5 spot, and as well as the 3 months of membership. I greatly appreciate it. And then Quiet Shy Girl says, happy 40th birthday, my friend. Thank you for 3 months of subs, Quiet Shy Girl. I appreciate that very, very much. Happy birthday, Lonard. Thank you, Radical. Yeah, they infiltrated last night, so 2 of my recordings for Presents, that's in the background. I couldn't do anything. I was like, well, I'm not taking it down because it's adorable, and I'm not going to risk damaging something or ripping something. So it stayed up. It stayed up, and it like I said, it got into some of the recordings for Presents because I was like, I got videos I got to do, so I guess it's just going to be back there. So I appreciate all the birthday wishes. Appreciate you guys being here. Go through those rituals, man. Say good morning, say happy birthday if you feel like it, and then feel free to smash that like button to get us our first 100 likes for the day. 1 foot in the grave now. That's right. The big 4-0. The big 4-0. We're on our way out, man. Looks like Breakwaters got delayed. I was like, I told my wife, she's like, do you like it? I was like, oh, the stream's gonna love it. So they each individually did like different letters, and there's pictures. This is somebody from Plants vs. Zombie, my son told me, and this is like us hanging out, and there's this one here. Me and my daughter are holding balloons, but just us because it's our birthdays today and tomorrow. And then we're not actually celebrating until Saturday. We're going to do some stuff on Saturday. We'll have dinner and stuff tonight, but we typically reserve the celebrations and having folks over and a party and all that. We typically do that on the weekends. It's a little bit more convenient for everybody. So you're going to be 50 in 10 years. You're good at wow, Sven. I'm impressed. I know that must have been hard for you to figure that, to add that one up. You know what I mean? Little Lone Artist kicking a bit for your birthday. He's partying for you. I like that we're calling him that for now. Oh, man. What if you name him Leonard and it'll always be like the... No, I'm just kidding. You need to come up with a much better name than that. $40 from Victor. A 40 spot on the big 4-0. Love you, bro. Happy birthday. Go punch a goose. That's right. Thank you, Victor. Oh, I need to tell my wife... I need to draw. She needs to bring me something. I need to draw Abe's picture. I need to make sure before they bag the coffee. Ashton says, congratulations to Eugene for killing Madam Butterfly. Oh, and I guess happy birthday to you too. Thank you, Ashton, for the 5 spot and for celebrating Eugene, I guess. Hang on. I need to let her know. I need to make a pic for Abe's order of coffee. She should be bringing down my breakfast shake, so I don't think they're going to be bagging it right now, but just in case. I'll let you in on the secret. The name is as nerdy as Leonard. Oh, great. We aren't sharing the name, so Leonard it is. I love it. That's perfect. Happy birthday. Thank you guys for all the happy birthday wishes. I greatly appreciate it. This has been a much better year, I will say that. Especially the last couple of weeks. The last couple of days have been really, really enjoyable. We really feel like things are going where we want. You know, we really do. The support of the videos over there on Presents has been stellar. That channel seems to be slowly turning around. We obviously aren't sure if that'll last once we're not giving out the spice every week, but this channel's been doing great, so we really appreciate the support of the live streams, and obviously very different coverage for me, to get into the MMO world and the new world and the Lost Ark, so we appreciate you guys kind of supporting that and being here for it all. Sven with a 5 spot. Jokes aside, happy birthday. Enjoy the time with the fam. Enjoy your days. I appreciate that, Sven. I killed, again, Shiro, Guardian Ape, and all the mini-bosses in between. Really? I've heard that the ape is can be pretty tilting. I have heard that. I've heard rumors about an ape. Got the number 100 like. There we go. There we go. Don't forget, guys. Don't forget that there are other ways to support. Yeah. And you got to put the two goose ones, the geese drawings, the goose drawings. They need to be randomly placed in just, it doesn't matter where they end up. Because I told people if they ordered coffee this week, some random person would get two random people. Yeah, please, anybody who gets those the goose drawings that I did, you know what I mean? All right, hang on a second.
You know what I mean?
We want to. Oh, I'm sorry. Post the pictures in the Discord. We want to see them. Sorry.
Who gets the goose picture?
I'm distracted. I'm distracted.
Restricted?
Thanks, Abe.
What color he wanted?
Frick you.
No, I'm not putting that in there.
Mama, he was promised this.
Well, then you can do it yourself. That is so rude.
Listen, he was promised this. He literally ordered it because he wanted the note.
Probably just wanted you to
Put that in Abe's order. Abe, is he here? Does it have Abe? Let's make sure it says Abe on his order. Oh my gosh. All right, hang on a second. Hang on. He ordered some. Did he use his government? No, yesterday. No, yeah. Okay, all right. That's the name. Okay, you got it? You think you can
So you gonna borrow my colored pencil?
Oh, no, I'll put the color pencil back. Sorry.
We are missing that.
Sorry, there, your colored pencils. and Abe's note. I'm not showing you what's inside. Come on. It's my birthday after all. Let me have a little fun. Nerd Mother with a $5 tip. Happy birthday. Still not as old as me. Thank you, Nerd Mother. Kenneth, happy birthday, Lono. And I also got my coffee order. Can honestly say I've never liked coffee until now. I must have arrived at adulthood. Thank you, Kenneth. Vengeance with a 20 spot. Everyone keeps wishing you a happy birthday. I'm going to wish you an average birthday to keep expectations realistic. Thank you. My daughter was joking about some big party tonight, and my wife's like, no, just keep your expectations low. It's dinner. We made you a dinner. Tommy with 2 months. Thank you, Tommy, for 2 months of subs. What's good, Feed? I see you in the chat. How are you? How are you, sir? Happy birthday to all the Valentine's Day babies. That's right. That's right. Let's New World. Let's do this. Let's do a pool. New World high watermark system. Should RNG be in gear leveling? I want to know what you guys think. Yes or no? Do you think RNG, it's okay to have some RNG in gear leveling, or should RNG not be in gear leveling? I want to know what you guys think. Make sure and take that poll. UK Stops coming in with 7 months. Happy birthday, dude. Can't believe I'm 10 years older. Yet look 10 years younger. How's that happen? That's the way to do it. Happy birthday, my friend. Thank you, Feed. Usually I just lurk, but I'm getting my tires repaired instead of at work. Happy birthday, homie. Thank you. 80s tees? Yeah, I have a Deadpool shirt on here. We'll have to sit up a little bit in the chair today. And what we got to update it too. If you guys, what did I just do? Okay. Let's go to 80s tees and get their Deadpool collection. This comes from their Deadpool collection. I have some Christmas shirts coming from 80s tees. They have a great Christmas selection, by the way. If you're looking to get people some Christmas shirts, or you're trying to get some Christmas shirts for the incoming holiday season, be sure to use code LONO over at 80s tees. Use that shirt command. The shirt ordering has slowed way down. I think the code got used one time last month, and that's totally fine. I think most of you have diverted your support to the coffee. I am not going to talk you out of that because that's honestly better. We prefer that because that's ours, right? So, T is sick. Normally I lurk, but happy birthday. Thank you very much, Middle Tier. I appreciate that. Happy birthday from Philip. I appreciate that. Happy birthday, bro. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate that. Doesn't belong really in a game that requires 100 hours to hit that point if you even are. Right. Yeah. If you guys are unaware, the high watermark system in New World is how it determines what gear score drops for you. So the New World watermark system is something that they basically use for New World gameplay when you get to the end game. So New World Endgame is a variety of things, right? You could work on your skills, your whatever, but a lot of people look for the they want to get the gear score. They want to get their gear score up. And if you want to do that, you got to go to certain areas, and there's some RNG involved. It target, if it's on a slot, it levels that slot. There's some good, but there's areas of it that I think could be improved. Yo, Google Beat says, reverse searing a steak and having a cherry Coke tonight? No. There's a honey lime enchilada recipe that I like that she's doing. She was getting it ready last night, and I got really excited. So, I'll get a steak. Somebody tipped the other day and told me to use the money to buy a steak. I'll do that. I'll do that soon. And then Dusk with a 5 spot. Don't always get a chance to watch because of work, but I couldn't pass up the opportunity to wish the most informative streamer happy birthday. Thank you, Dusk. I appreciate that very, very much. I'm pretty sure they have safety in place. More drops that aren't upgrade ups. The chance the next one is. Now, Hawk, I didn't get into that because we want to start to create content that is, informational. So we want to do a separate video where I basically walk through and say, here's how the high watermark system works. Now that'll be an upload, and we're looking at those probably hitting on the weekends. We don't think those fit necessarily for discussion. So I didn't get into that. People are complaining about the RNG and watermarking. Nobody's complaining about it. I just think RNG should be minimized as much as possible with respect to high watermarking in the end game. Nobody's really complaining about it. The main complaint seems to be that a lot of the grinds are suboptimal to get the gear score to go up, and that the tuning orb grind there is a bit of a slog. So the developer said they're going to be looking at the fact that some of the grinds are suboptimal, and the tuning orb is just it's taken a bit too much time. So thank you for all of the birthday wishes. We greatly appreciate that. The director, creator, writer of Squid Games says they will be back with more adventures. Oh, I assumed they were going to do another one. I think a fair amount of RNG is good, says Individual, or else the game is predictable and gets boring. Well, that's why I made it a point of discussion, because, Harry's saying, from Harry's response, it apparently is not a big deal at all. I have always felt that if there's RNG involved in leveling, it just doesn't make any sense to me. At that stage, you put in so much time. Why does, increasing your gear score, does it need to be ever held back by RNG, right? And even if it's minimal, right? Hey, we got a coffee order already. 2 Frickmas bags and a dark roast to Mike. Thank you so much. Best. Send me a link to the coffee. Sure. Let's see here. Let's see. Cut. Let's see. I told the guy at 80s Tees, I was like, I think the shirt orders have slowed down because I think people are buying the coffee. I was just honest with him. I was like, I honestly think the shirt sales will slow down because people are like, yo, the coffee's good. Coffee's kind of taking over. And I'm not going to complain about that at all because that's ours. It's like, you're supporting us directly, It's great to support our sponsors. We also have Displate. Don't forget about Displate. You can use that command and get a really nice discount. I think the watermark grind is done well, says Harry. Daily elite run for efficient grind up, and there's extra bosses you can farm all day long if you want to. So do you think any of the grinds are suboptimal? Because the developer on the forum seemed to indicate that the New World Watermark system was, in their mind, working pretty well, but they were acknowledging that some of the grinds were suboptimal. What's a watermark system? Okay, so do you remember, Christina, when I said that if you got a pair of boots that were 150 instead of 145, it should just level that slot to 150. So the game would be like, yeah, your boots are 150. The watermark system does that, but it doesn't change, it doesn't change your boots to 150. It views your boots as if they're 150. Does that make sense? Even if you delete the boots, it views that slot as being 150, so it's watermarked to being that level. How's your wife feeling about the SNTR stories? She has very tentatively agreed to an AMA where she would be off camera and have a microphone. We're not sure where that's going to land, but I think it would be really, really cool for people to hear her perspective on everything. But we're thinking through that. She's kind of tentatively agreed, and we'll see, because I have a way to set up another really good microphone, and you could be able to hear her nice and clear and crisp, and not in the background. But yeah, get him to use your coffee command. Well, I mean, he's been excellent. The guy that runs 80s Tees has been very, very good. And so it's been very, very nice that he's been so agreeable to work with us, for this entire year. It's been very, very good. It's been a great relationship. The last 3 months, it's super, super duper slowed down. Not very many people are using the code, but that's okay. The coffee sales have kind of gone up in replace of it, and that's totally fine. Like I said, we would prefer coffee orders to be more regular and stable, because that is a more direct form of support. For us. You have to equip the loot. No, John, you do not. That was why I said it should be more clear in the game that it's happening. They don't make that clear, and you do not have to equip the gear. You don't. Harry says a tuning orb is another thing. Dungeons are mainly for 590 to 600. 500 to 590 is a different thing. You run 2 Reek Water Elites and then to the mines in the Shattered Mountain and then Mike Guard. Farm all the elite chests. So you think it's a good loop, Harry? You think the way they've got the endgame loop. You're 29 today, Feed. Well, happy birthday, Feed. You think the way they have it set up is fine. Okay. Because from where I sit, New World gameplay, it's what you make of it, and I like that if they're giving you that level of freedom in the end game, then that's good. Because typically what games like this do is they whittle down into this is the only thing that matters, nothing else matters. And if you can run a couple of different things to slowly grind up to 590, I would say that's a better system than other games that I've played. The RNG gods are evil and I oppose them. I'm a misotheist in regards to them. There you go. Why are you against slot-based leveling, Ilarian? You don't like it. I don't know why you have to use that word, but you don't like it. The endgame loop should be actives, not some weird run where you try not to get hit by a mob. Harry says, it's not like gear score is the main thing. Faction armor used to be the best at 520 gear score because of the perks. 600 is just min-max. Oh. Is it still that way now with the gear? Jaggy Snake with an $18 tip. Happy birthday, dude. Treat yourself to something good, like the new Biffy album or something. I've been trying to listen to the new Biffy, but both albums, every other song is marked as explicit, and I'm like, I can't put this on in the car with the kiddos. So I haven't been able to listen much. Thank you for the tip, though, Jaggy. I appreciate it. If you guys are just tuning in, we're talking about the high watermarking system in New World. I walked through the good, the bad, and how they could improve it a little bit. They're actually, I'll be honest. I had very little bad to say. It's mostly good. I just said, hey, make the tuning orb grind a little bit better, maybe minimize RNG where you can, and then maybe make some of the other grinds not so suboptimal so that you can kind of like maybe do more activities. But like, those are pretty minimal gripes. Like, when I read through how it worked, I was like, this is literally practically everything we asked for in the other game, in Destiny. Because the thing that really piqued my interest is they're like, if you get a pair of boots that doesn't raise your gear score of your boots, then the next time boots drop, it's a higher likelihood that they'll bump it up. And I'm like, why every game should be like this? Slot-based leveling is lazy game design, being a little hyperbolic, but in general, we have not seen any slot-based leveling be enjoyable. It's just a question of how good is your luck to get through it. Well, then what would you propose to be different? Because there's so much different gear to drop. Like, New World gear, like, is there so much of it? Because depending on, like, light, medium, and heavy, the benefit to you is that if a heavy drops and you're not really wearing heavy, then it could still help you. It could still help your gear score. Harry says that RNG doesn't come into it when you're getting hundreds of drops. My elite run earlier took 2 hours and I got over 150 gear drops. Jiminy Christmas. I got to get up to 60 and run some of this stuff. It sounds pretty good. We've stalled out a little bit playing Lost Ark. We obviously are going to get back in New World, but yo, Fat J says, happy birthday. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it very, very much. If you remove RNG from a looter, you get to the end of the game and you just get burned out faster. Okay, here's my thoughts on RNG and your drops, though. Harry's saying RNG doesn't matter because there's so many drops. So the RNG really isn't a problem. But in my mind, RNG typically applies best when we're talking about the stats and the perks and the roll on an item, not its gear score. Apparently, you get so much that it doesn't really matter that there's a little bit of RNG with gear score. And the fact that it protects you, if you're getting 150 drops, you know, you get 1 or 2 boots that don't bump your gear score, there's going to be boots in there that do. You see, there's too much. And if RNG is being an issue, without any disrespect, I struggle to believe you are being efficient, says Harry. Okay, all right. Well, I didn't quite understand that you could get that much loot from those grinds because even the dev said on the forums that some of the grinds are suboptimal. They're just not very efficient for raising your gear score. Demetrius says, I grinded the same elite runs as Harry for hours, and I only got 1 out of 100 drops to actually increase my watermark. This is why I said RNG is dangerous to have in this department, because I mean, unless Demetrius is, and I don't think he is, but unless he's telling a tall tale, you know, he had 100 some odd drops and it didn't help him. Well, One Piece helped him. Now they're saying that seems like that shouldn't be possible, Demetrius. So unless their RNG protection is incredibly weak, then that shouldn't be happening. There's something you don't understand about how gear score works. I'm sorry, but that's not it, says Harry. Let's see here. Hey, look at this. Another coffee order, a bag of Frickmas, and a bag of dark roast. Thank you so much, Brian. I appreciate that very, very much. Someone send Brian. Let's see. He's always asking about the coffee. I don't know what he means by white label. I don't know what that means. We have a company roast. Oops. Bag and label it for us. And then it ships to me on a big skid. My wife and kiddos bag and ship it. Ship it. There we go. I wish Destiny had the watermarking system. It sounds like it's working well in New World, so long as the gear you're getting is increasing your overall power. However, if the RNG protection doesn't work and it gives you 4 chest pieces in a row, obviously that's going to suck and it's not fun. Well, ideally, even if you get 4 in a row, they would be raising the gear score of that slot. Demetrius says, I farm the same elite... Oh, I'm sorry, Butters with a tier 1 membership. Thank you, Butters, for hitting the join button. Hey, for my birthday, you guys want to get me something? Let's get 400 members on this channel. How about it, huh? I think we have like 320 or something. Thank you, Butters, for pushing the members a little bit higher. Demetrius says, I farm the same elite chests and bosses as everyone, and the likelihood of a drop actually increasing your watermark seems to be 5% or lower. It seems like the same system as Destiny besides the need to keep the item. Well, not necessarily, Eugene, because yes, you don't need to keep the item, and yes, you don't have to equip it. The game like sees you, it sees you as having that level, but Destiny does it based on your overall level, not that slot's level, okay? So in Destiny, the headache was if you have one item holding back your light level, then you're going to get boots that drop at or below your light level. That's not how it works in New World. New World says, oh, your boots are 150. Here are boots that are 150. And you're like, well, that didn't help me. But then the RNG protection says, hey, they just got a drop that wasn't higher than their boot gear score. The next time boots drop, they have a higher likelihood of bumping gear score. So the gear score of the boots is dropping in relation to your boots, not your overall gear score. So you can't get drug under by a bad item. If you've got a bad item, that's going to suck for a while, but it's not ultimately going to affect all of your drops. Like if your sword, for whatever reason, you just can't get a sword to drop at a higher gear score, eventually you're going to, and while you're waiting for that, everything else is based on the actual slot that it drops on. So that, I think, is really, really good. That's something that Destiny always got wrong, in my opinion. It says you're going to get a powerful. Well, it's not a powerful if it targets the wrong slot and drops lower. So even if it targets a slot that's not going to help me, it should still bump by 1 or 2, right? And then obviously when it targets the weak slot or the slot lagging behind, it's going to be a bump of like a 6 or a 7. That would even things out. But instead, half of your weekly rituals in that game are thrown away sometimes because you get the wrong drop. And you're like, well, you can't get anything else. And in this game, Demetrius sounds like he had a terrible time. Harry's saying he's having a great time. So that could just be bad luck. That could be, I don't know, but he nothing's stopping him from rerunning those routes. Nothing's stopping him from rerunning those chest farms. Like, New World elite chest farms are probably a very common behavior right now for folks in the endgame. New World gameplay sort of feels like endgame the whole time. This is something some people have been saying recently. It's like you're basically in the endgame the whole time. From the very beginning, you're hitting rocks, you're doing this, you're farming that, blah, 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 blah. But when you're doing your best to raise that gear score, having routes like that, I think, is very important. How many are you doing these farms with? Elite chests can be grabbed once a day. So it's daily. Well, at least it's not weekly. Okay, so it is limited a little bit. Demetrius says 5 to 15 people, depending on the run. Chest farms are limited to once a day, though. Okay. But once a day, I feel like that's tolerable. You know what I mean? Remember when going to the arcade was the best thing ever? There's a thing coming out. We're getting holiday gift guides where it should fit. It's an at-home arcade that's gonna have Dragon's Lair, Double Dragon, and other games in it. You want to send me one? I'll review it. Holiday pricing is $599 for allowing 128 gig. Man, yo, can you send me one? Can you send me one to review? I mean, shoot your shot, chat. Shoot your shot, chat. It's like a $500 at-home arcade. And they sent me like a press briefing on it. I was like, well, you want to send me one? I mean, I'll review it. I'll slap it in the studio. Shoot your shots, chat. Just do it. A 50 spot from my man Coyote. Always so generous. Look at you. You're 40 and still gaming. Happy birthday, Lono. Thank you, Coyote. I appreciate that. I'm going to make my own when I get the house in the space. Harry says 15 is too many. You won't get credit for all of the kills. 5 is too little. It takes too long. Stick to about 10 people and be strict about it. It makes a difference. We can't forget that RNG is involved. It's entirely possible my gear score RNG is just much worse than yours. Now, Harry is saying, are you in full luck gear? Both weapons, all armor bags. Now, New World Luck, they talked about that in a blog post recently, and it's going to end up being probably one of the videos where we try to explain what in the world's going on. If you guys are just tuning in, make sure and take our poll at the top of the chat. Do you think that RNG should be involved when it comes to leveling or gear score? Deliverance says luck does not affect gear score. You want to send me a pallet of Dark Roast to review? Yeah, sure. Sure, Zubair. Yeah. Zubair gets about halfway through the pallet and he's like, the jury's still out. We're going to have to keep going through the inventory here. Not wearing full luck gear, wearing my most powerful gear. Harry says luck affects drops. So are you saying, Harry, that luck doesn't affect the gear score, but it affects the drops? Like, are you getting more drops and therefore getting more chances? Is that what you're saying? There are some items you can't even get to drop without luck gear on, says Distorted. There are items that you can't even get to drop without luck? Deliverance says drop rarity, that's it. But wouldn't that affect the gear score of the items being dropped? This guy's saying, what is that? Slight? Oh, slight. Demetrius, like I said, I think the issue is more about farming chests versus named elites. Harry says, not the gear score. You get a ton more drops. With no luck, bosses will drop nothing most of the time anyway. So that's why. So this is what it sounds like to me. It sounds like Harry is running a farming route with 10 people, approximately 10 people, 5 being too little, 15 being too many, because you won't get credit. He's also running lots of luck because that affects the drops from the bosses, increasing the quantity of your drops by the end of a run. So that when he gets to the end of a run, he's gotten 100 to 150 drops, mitigating and therefore minimizing the effect of RNG. Because New World gameplay, my biggest struggle with the RNG in it is that I'm constantly feeling like, okay, how many great axes can you give me? I think that's one of the more frustrating things I've experienced with the New World loot RNG, right? Fuzzy Dude coming in and doing a membership. Enjoy the dope badge and emotes. You're dope and deserve dope stuff. Thank you to all of the new members and long-term members. Or if you're just keeping your membership going over on SNTR Presents, thank you so much for that as well. We greatly appreciate that support. Elites have a lower percent chance than elites. What? Elites have a lower percent chance than elites at dropping gear score increase, and chests are even lower than elite chests. Yo, it's good, Moosh. Happy birthday, thank you. The best loot in the game is actually crafted, says Distorted. Harry says, make sure your group is killing every mob too. No running past just for chests. With full luck, half of your loot will be from killing normal mobs. Really? Well, good morning, Eduardo. And yes, for those of you curious, it is my birthday. My beautiful family, my wife and 2 kiddos, they made that banner. And I was like, that's definitely staying up. The stream's going to love it. Crafted endgame gear is better than dungeon or open world gear. Really? I mean, I don't know how I feel about that. The dungeon, open world, I feel like that stuff should be significantly better. It should be significantly better. Oh, he's sending me some catalogs. Nice. We've got some good 80s tees Christmas stuff coming. Guys, really be sure if you're looking to get some really great Christmas shirts, whether like ugly sweaters or t-shirts, check out 80s tees and get those orders in November so you can have them for December. I've got some Christmas shirts on the way. Happy birthday. Thank you, Jay White. It gets you the highest gear score, says Distorted Sama. Lono, 25 again. Happy birthday. That's right. That's right. I thought we were past running specific gear for drop increases. Yeah, I mean, well, I've always thought that was weird. Wasn't there a game that removed that because they said that everybody felt like they had to run that stat? What was that, Diablo? What was it? There was a thing that he talked about. I swear he talked about this because this came up in Anthem. The idea that like you have to run luck, and then it's like, well, but that's a throwaway stat then, because eventually it doesn't matter. So you're literally creating a gear set to farm with, but that's not your gear. Anthem had that, and then I swear that guy from Diablo Loot 2.0 System Design made that post and was like, you can't have a stat like this because it's a throwaway stat or perk. Warsmith with a 20 spot. Happy birthday, Lono. Take my money. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. No gamer ever turns 40. Well, I have. The gear you can get from the endgame dungeons is perfectly rolled, and you do that through crafting, and doing that through crafting could take forever. I swear that the guy said in Diablo they removed it. It was like Magic Find or something. There was a perk that they removed from Diablo because they were like, this becomes so important that people aren't able to really grind for good gear. They're grinding for gear that has Magic Find on it, or it was something like that. And then they ended up removing the luck stat in Anthem. They did. They heard that feedback, and that was a very, very good change. This is the first anniversary of your 39th. Oh, I don't care about being 40. It doesn't bother me. Some of the best gear to craft in the dungeon is the dungeon gear because it forces a stat, and then you can force one perk, and you're halfway to the perfect roll. Oh. Right. If the crafted gear wasn't better, there wouldn't be a point in crafting, though, and that extensive system behind it in towns and invasions would be meaningless. Well, it sounds like what Tony is saying, some of the best gear to craft is the dungeon gear. So you can craft dungeon gear? Do you have to get it first? So like New World dungeon loot, you can craft it and not run the dungeon? I'm not sure how that works. A lot of people are saying luck and loot chance stats are literally low tier perks that are just filler. Well, because that's true. They don't do anything. You can craft gear from dungeon materials. Oh. Right. Someone's thinking about birthday beer. Maybe. You farm the mats from the dungeon. I gotcha. Yo. So is the view good, Lono? What view? What are you talking about? The mats for crafting, it drops in the dungeon itself. Okay, so what Tony is saying is you craft the dungeon gear from the dungeon materials, and it forces a stat. And then you can force one perk, and you're halfway to the perfect roll. Okay. Now, Manny is saying you can craft the dungeon gear, but there's a cap to said gear. You're 40 now. When's the Jesus look coming back? I don't know if ever. I don't miss it. I really, really don't miss having long hair. I like having it short. I'm getting it cut tonight. I go to a specific person, and it was the only time he was available, so I was like, well, I guess I'm getting my hair cut on my birthday. So, from over the hill, happy birthday, partner. Thank you, Craig. Oh, the view from over the hill. Got it. Wait, over the hill? I thought that was like 60. I thought 60 was over the hill. What are you talking about? Is 40 over the hill? Really? I mean, I don't care. I thought over the hill was like older. Like the Dynasty gear caps at 500 if I'm correct. See, that's an issue that I have with the New World dungeons. why don't you repurpose them and have the stuff drop? Like, let's say you get to max gear score, okay? Why not let me rerun the dungeons for everything in there and have it drop at my gear score? Like, repurpose all that loot. The loot in there is awesome. It looks awesome. You know what I mean? I don't understand. From what I've heard, it sounds like there are ways to mitigate your RNG in the endgame when it comes to the gear score grind. You can optimize like Harry with success, or not optimize like me and be sad. Right. Oh, it's 40 for streamers, says Zubair. Okay. 40 is standard over the hill? All right, I'm Googling it because I feel like you guys would lie to me about this. I feel like you would lie to me. Old and past one's prime. What birthday is officially over the hill? Says this question, right? And it says the phrase. Oh, it's a stupid, super long blog. Oh, forget it. It was like a lengthy blog with like pictures and stuff. It's like, no, I'm good. I don't need to see all that. You just assumed we would mess with you? Yeah, I did. I think I rightly assumed that you guys would mess with me and make stuff up. I think I was right in assuming that you would do that. Would you not? I feel like you would. Happy birthday, my dude. Thank you, old soul. I appreciate that. Over the hill. Over the hill means you're past your prime. You've went up the hill, and now you're going back down the other side. Everything's going to be in decline from here on out. I think that happens at, 26? That happens at, 26, doesn't it? Everything starts to slow down. So, I mean, I'm well past that, When have we ever messed with you? I don't know. Pick a day of the week. Pick a day of the week. Ferryman says the problem with reusing dungeons is that it stopped players farming an easy dungeon rather than trying to do a harder one if there are harder dungeons. Well, wouldn't you just scale the dungeon to where I am? Like, have a hard mode, right? You go back. I didn't say just let me go rerun it at the current level and one-shot everything. I said repurpose the dungeons, meaning go back and make a hard mode. Make the bosses have phases. Make the boss resurrect. Make him have more health. Make him hit harder. Make him be at my level. And then I can farm that dungeon for its loot. It seems weird with the dungeons right now, but remember, we got 6 more dungeons coming, probably all endgame dungeons, needing to craft a tuning orb for each one. I think we will have enough. Happy birthday. Thank you, Greenside. I mean, I guess. I think it depends on your level of fitness. Well, we can confirm. Sacrifice says, I'm turning 27 in a month. I can't confirm 26 is the cutoff. I don't think it's about fitness. I mean, literally, it's the makeup of your body. Like, at a certain age, breakdown starts, and 26 to 28, maybe. You can stretch it out a couple years. Manny with a 10 spot. It's your birthday, period. But for real, enjoy your day and the fam, my man. Thanks for entertaining us. I appreciate that, Manny. Yeah, get your coffee orders in. We greatly appreciate it. So, he got a TV. Yeah. The TV was the time that you messed with me. Yeah. We're not counting that as my birthday present, so I expect Madam to roll in here with, a gaming rig or something, Way overthinking it. Over the hill signifies half your life is over. That is so dark. That is so dark. So you're going to get, you hit 80 and that's it. You're like, dead. No, I'm done at 80. That's it. I'm out. Old Soul with a $20 tip. Lono, feel free to take the old from my name. Thank you. There's a reason pro athletes over 30 are considered on the decline. Yeah. It ain't 40. That's for sure. Did you just assume the shape of my hill? A gaming rig in this economy? It'd be cheaper than that dadgum TV. I'm sorry, the TV would be cheaper than buying a gaming rig right now, wouldn't it? The only thing that sets your prime is your mind. And you seem as prime as ever. Well, I appreciate that. So, I'm sorry I brought it up. It's getting a bit dark. Poor Craig. He's just trying to make a nice comment. He's like, you're over the hill. Now we're talking about death. And Craig's like, this is not what I expected, but we're here, so... Monochrome with a membership. Enjoy the dope badge and emotes. You are dope and deserve dope stuff. Thank you so much for that membership. Thank you for the coffee orders, the likes. If you're new and you're tuning in, I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think. If you have been playing a lot of New World gameplay, what do you think about RNG being involved? What do you think about RNG being involved in gear score or leveling? Just curious what you guys think. Be sure to vote in the poll. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, be sure to do that as well. Sorcerer of Havoc says, happy birthday, Lono. I couldn't find a place to make your I Will Punch a Goose shirt, so I sent you the next best thing. Look out for it. Okay. Thank you for the 5 spots, Sorcerer. Is it getting hit with the P.O. box? Oh, brother. A kicker change. They've signed a 53. Oh, yeah. Kickers are a little different. Yeah. Kickers, they can go way longer. I think RNG could make the game a little bit more exciting. With that thought process, you'll never actually know when you're officially over the hill. Yeah, that's exactly right, because who cares? We are all old people. Lono, you are elderly with an elderly chat. I talk about that in this week's Say No to Rage story. I do. I talk about that. I'm like, my audience is a little bit older, and they're a little bit more perceptive. That's why a lot of my audience, whenever we were streaming on Purple, they didn't like a lot of those other guys because they could see through the nonsense. They're like, these guys aren't nice. Yeah, when you're over the age of like 28, you start to pick up on things, When you're 21, you're like, this guy's awesome, and then you get to 28 and you're like, this guy's kind of a douche. So, you got to be, I'm glad that I appealed to an older and more perceptive audience, because if not, I don't think I'd be here. MJ with 3 months, thanks so much, brother. Coming back in for 3, getting a blue badge. You look tough too in that avatar, man. You're looking tough. Did you just call all of us old? I didn't call you old. I said you're older. You're not a bunch of kids. You're not G Fuel snorting Fortnite fiends. You know what I mean? You guys can think for yourselves. I know you can think for yourselves because we have so many disagreements here. My man MJ coming in with a 20 spot. Happy birthday, brother. Keep grinding. Thank you. Appreciate that. RNG is a game mechanic to keep you invested, says Nick. If you got what you were looking for first go, then the hours of gameplay are shortened. Now, I am specifically asking Nick about New World gameplay. When you get to the end game, RNG applying to gear score drops. Like, do you get the gear score bump that you need? I'm not talking about running a dungeon one time and getting exactly what you wanted. Like, yay, I got the life staff, right? Thank you, Christina, for saying happy birthday. I'm not talking about that. The RNG applying to loot drops, if you were here earlier, you would have heard me say this, but you weren't, so it's fine. I'll say it again. RNG applying to loot drops makes sense, so that you keep trying to go back and get the loot that you want. Gear score and leveling, to me, is a separate category. But there's different opinions in chat. Harry's saying it's fine, you can get so many drops running the right grind. $5 from D Dizzle. Happy birthday, sir. Welcome to the 40s Club. Thank you. Now, I'm going to push back on what Harry said. I've had time to mull it over while I've been talking with you guys, and I'm going to push back on Harry's position for a few reasons. Number one, he outlined a very specific way to approach the grind, and I don't think you should have to go to that great lengths to have efficient quantity to mitigate the bad RNG. I don't think you should have to do that. Make sure it's 10, not 5. It'll take too long. Not 15. You won't get credit. Go through the area. Kill every mob. Do it like this. Most efficient. Get this many chests. 2 hours later, 150 drops. Like, what? Like, wow. Can I just, like, go run some endgame activities and get some drops and have my gear score go up? I gotta do all that? Do you see what I'm saying? The game, and this is my criticism of the leveling, even before you get to gear score. The game already has this weird idea that once you get to like level 50, they're like, all right, here we go. Take the player and just squeeze them. And you're like, why can't I get any XP? So what did people do? They found exploits. They found boss farms. They found boar farms. They found glitches to get more XP because the game wasn't giving them what I would consider to be an adequate and appropriate amount of XP for the end game. 50 to 60 was terrible. And it sounds to me like the gear score grind ain't much better because unless you run a very specific farm, it doesn't sound like it's a very efficient end game grind. Even the devs are admitting that some of the grinds for gear score bumps are suboptimal, and the tuning orb is a slog, and so they're looking at that, like getting a tuning orb ready. The coffee is beans, or is it pre-ground? It's ground coffee, Jared, because I have to order a skid of it. I get like 500 bags that show up to my house. So when I do that, I can't order half ground, half not. It just isn't possible. I'd have to double every order and spend a ridiculous amount of money to even offer you whole bean coffee. It just isn't possible. Now, Harry is saying, that's the thing. You can do any activity level 61 and you will level your gear score. It will just take time. Now, hang on, though. Manny with 8 months at a tier 2 membership. Thank you, Manny. Would you be stoked for some Canadian maple syrup? Could P.O. box it? Oh, man. My wife would have to double and triple check allergens and cross-contamination potential. Like, if it's an official brand that she can contact about allergens, then feel free. We're real super touchy, like, wow, hesitant with food products because of my daughter's allergy. I'm not really big on syrup and sweet stuff in the morning, so I wouldn't even use it. It might be better. You might be better off just, sending me a case of beer or something from like Canadian beer than sending syrup. Happy birthday, Lono. Today is my dad's birthday. He's 65. By the way, welcome to the 40-year club. Well, I already like your dad. He's got a great birthday. He really does. I'm a bean guy. So Eugene says he likes whole bean coffee and he doesn't care that this is ground. We've not had a single complaint about the coffee being pre-ground. It tastes great. At this rate, you'll be selling whole bean this time next year. I mean, maybe the coffee has done very, 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 very well. Individual says Harry's method is like the opposite end of the spectrum for max efficiency. With luck trophies, some luck gear, and 3 people, you can get a ton to drop. Hey, somebody ordered some coffee just now. A bag of the Frickmas blend to Jared. Thank you, Jared, for an order of the Frickmas blend. I appreciate those coffee orders. You guys don't know, man. That is just such an encouragement. Seeing those orders every day. You guys are going insane. The coffee orders are nuts. Like, I'm having to help with the thank you notes because, like, my poor kiddos, my daughter's like, oh, my hand, because she's like, she's practicing her cursive for your thank you notes. So I expect her to be thanked and praised for that. All right, I expect pictures on Twitter and Discord. All right, that's my girl. Brandon Marshall coming in. Hitting that join button. Another member today. Enjoy the dope badge and emotes. You're dope and deserve dope stuff. Thank you. For casual players, efficiency isn't really a big concern. Well, when you're in the late game, you're not really going to be a casual player. I have a hard time believing somebody's level 60 going into 61 plus activities to raise their gear score and you would classify them as a casual. I don't think so. I really, really don't. Don't let cursive die. Yeah. This is their handiwork. Wait, hang on. There we go. This is their handiwork back here. I would make a terrible weatherman. We got a high-pressure system coming in from the... forget it. Yeah, back to you, Ted. I got my coffee order last night. I'll post Minions drawing on Twitter. I appreciate that. My son helps, too. Actually, most of the drawings are him. She does the cursive. She's the one writing the words. and then he takes it and he does the artwork. So they split the labor. Division of labor. After a week of taking the Madam Challenge, the Frickmas blend is the clear winner. I think she leans heavily towards Frickmas now as well. I think she's going to be sad when it's gone. Coffee command's not working. It could just be that we have an issue with Nightbot just sleeping at the wheel. So I can always put it in chat. There you go. Greenside with 3 months of membership. That's a blue badge. Just using it to say happy B-Day again. 3 months. Man, I appreciate that, Greenside. Thank you. Checking in this morning for the first time in a bit. I really miss this style of content. Can't wait for you to be covering a game I'm invested in. Keep grinding. Well, I appreciate that, Jared. It's going to be tough because we're loving covering New World. I am really enjoying Lost Ark in the afternoons. Those dungeons are a freaking blast. We had a bit of a tough time yesterday with a guy who kept knocking us down, and then the dungeon after that was just so much fun. Oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun with the combat in that game. I did not think I was going to like Lost Ark. I thought, okay, the animations look dope, the combat looks dope. I think I could learn to love this game. And like within 20 minutes, I was like, this game is friggin' awesome. Like, it is really, really good. Thank you, Gale Play. I appreciate that. Zubair is supporting Red Team with an emote. That's right. We've got the emotes for you. Hey, another order of coffee coming in. A bag of Frickmas and a bag of light to Ion. Thank you, Ion, for an order of coffee. Will you be trying Vanguard out? Well, a little housekeeping. If you're new to the stream, hit subscribe if you want to introduce yourself in chat or join the discussion or take the poll at the top of the chat. If you're interested in New World gameplay, we cover it here, we play it here, and today we're talking about the high watermark system, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on whether or not RNG should be involved in the high watermark gear system with raising your gear score. But little housekeeping. So the issue with, because Jared's like, finding a game that you'd be invested in or whatever. If you're not invested in New World or Lost Ark, I'm still going to do my best to bring the same vibe. Because we had plenty of people that watched us when we streamed on Purple that did not play Destiny, and they came every day because they liked the discussions, the back and forth. They liked, it felt like a radio show. It's safe for work, so you can throw it on in the background. It's just really, really good. They find it entertaining. I don't know what variety coverage is even going to look like anymore here. I know we want to, but at the same time, it's just going to be really, really hard to square it. Once some of these games really start to land and we really want to put in the time, it's just going to be really, really hard. Now, that doesn't mean, once or twice a week, we may feel like, hey, man, there's some big stories out there. Let's do a morning of variety, right? But the Monday through Friday variety, I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. I kept being told I needed to niche down. Find games or game types or a game and just throw yourself into it. And I think we may be able to do that with New World, Lost Ark, and Elden Ring. To the point that we're going to try to have a weekly Elden Ring topic for you guys. So Fridays will basically be an actual From Friday. Like, we're going to kick the day off with like an Elden Ring topic. I've got some good ones for you. And we'll do that basically leading up to Elden Ring. And then go into some gameplay, which we're going to hopefully finish Dark Souls 3 this week, which means Sekiro we will kick up next week. And we think that's the approach that we're going to have to take here. Now, if you're still looking for like really quick news snippets and variety gaming news coverage, the updates channel is going to start to get that. I'm going to be recording stuff off stream very quickly when we feel like there's good enough news that warrants it. Like the removal of an emote from Fortnite and some other things. And so we will do our best to continue to bring coverage of what we think are good and relevant topics, while also making sure that we sort of, diligently cover games that we think are going to be better for you guys in the community and for me long term. And so and then just continuing to tell the Say No to Rage story over on Presents, as well as I have a video today I have a video today of why morally conflicted characters are more interested in movies and TV shows. And it's a really good video. I was really pleased with how it turned out. I just sat down and did it in one take, and it just it felt really good. I'm really enjoying that content over there. And you guys have responded really well to it. Yesterday's video, Why Therapy, did great. Got great response from people about it, and we really appreciate it. Yeah, they removed Travis Scott's emote from Fortnite. They didn't officially say it either. They did it kind of quietly. His emote was supposed to land in the daily store, and they just like shut the store down and didn't really say why. Now this gets dicey, and if the updates video gets, Creature's gonna have to redo the video and try and put an image over the. I used the concert footage because he did a concert in the game, and he has a skin in the game. And I don't know what they're going to do about that because people paid for it and they have it. So he already has stuff in the game. So we'll see if they decide to officially remove it. I would hope they don't do anything until we get some official, like, exhaustive information. Because right now it's not looking very good for him. And obviously we would want it to be handled appropriately and that justice would be done. But, the internet can be a little quick to jump to conclusions, so I'm not landed on a side yet. I'm like, well, figure everything out, please, because this looks awful. So just refund and remove. Yeah, they might just have to give people V-Bucks and remove it. That's exactly right. If it comes down that if it's concretely found that he is to blame to any degree, then I think you have to say, listen, this is awful, and we can't be associated with this. So yeah, it might just be a holding pattern until the investigation is concluded. What happened? They were holding some concert and it got out of control, and the word is now that he was warned and they were saying it should get shut down and he didn't, and then panic ensued because it was too many people and people died. It was basically it's like if a building is on fire and people try to get out, that kind of a thing, like trampled and stuff. So yeah, not good. Very, very awful, very tragic, and similar to like what happened with Baldwin. The worst thing we can do when a tragedy happens is like immediately demand like something should be done. Like, no, it should be carefully and exhaustively looked at, because he may not be the primary culprit. There may be other people that we don't even know their names. There could be people in production or managerial or directive positions that were in more control or more aware. And so if there was any recklessness or if there were people making really bad decisions, pointing at him is great, but it might not be all on him. So that's why I'm always like, listen, it's tragic, and out of respect for the tragedy and the loss, let's allow the appropriate level of investigation to take place so that the truth can be known. Going the content on the other channel, it's become obvious that video game coverage for you is like Mike Tyson in a bounce house. It's interesting to hear you break down anything. I don't understand that analogy. It has become obvious video game coverage for you is like Mike Tyson in a bounce house. It's interesting to hear you break down anything. I do not get that analogy at all. I'm just picturing Mike Tyson in a bounce house. It's like, yeah, I broke my back, spinal. Like, what's he doing in there? Oh, man. Wonder if Lono would like Arcane. I saw Arcane promoted on Netflix this morning. Is the one girl supposed to look like the girl from Stranger Things? Look just like her. The older sister. The older sister from Stranger Things. I forget her name now. Real cute. Just as cute as a button. Like this, like, she's just so adorable. Her little hair and her little, like, she looks like something out of a 1950s movie. But the one girl in Arcane looked just like her. I was like, is that her? Babe, it's like Babe Ruth playing T-ball. Oh, I get the spirit of the analogy. Oh, Yeah, Nancy. Yeah. Like, one of the characters right on the front of Arcane looked just like Nancy. I was like, is that supposed to be Nancy? Is that supposed to look like the actress that plays Nancy? I was like, it looks just like her. You guilty of not being aware of what's going on. The main blame has to lie with the event organizers. Yeah, there she is. Oh, she is so cute. She's like the cutest thing ever. She's so adorable. High Score on Netflix is a great episode series for any video game fans. I've heard that. Poor analogy, keep doing you. I mean, I appreciate the compliment. I've had a few people say that. They're like, it really feels like you're wasting yourself on covering video games. They're like, you're wasting your talents, you know? And I'm like, but I like covering video games. So. Team Dark Roast, good morning. What's good, Captain Toasty Buns? What's good, Sweet Cheeks? Let's see. Let's check. Guys, make sure and take that poll in the chat. Oh my goodness. What is going on? 3 coffee orders coming in. A light roast to Old Soul. Thank you, Old Soul. A Frickmas blend to Brandon. And what do we have here? A dark roast to Get Cruised. Thank you, Get Cruised. What is the best shipping address to pass along? This is hilarious. I don't know. I guarantee you they won't be able to do. Yeah, there we go. They're gonna pass it along. If that thing shows up, I'm gonna laugh. She's like, there's limited samples, but I'll pass it along, make a request. I'm like, all right. If it's pointless, anybody would defend it. I don't know enough to take a side. Because I saw clips of him being like, hey, somebody's passing out, help them. And they're like, nobody wants you to see this. And I'm like, yeah, but that's like isolated. Like, what was he doing before, during, after? What was he doing as it led up to the problems? Like, sure, you can take one clip and be like, he was doing a nice thing here. And it's like, but that doesn't mean anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, Abe's saying he was telling people to break into the venue. Like, what? Why would you do that? I don't think you're allowed to say Atwood is a cool kid. Saying that makes you not a cool kid. Just give me a nudge and I'll say it for you. Zubair. If you guys are just tuning in, we are talking about the New World High Watermark system. And if you want to take the poll at the top of the chat, I'm kind of asking the audience, do you think RNG should ever be involved in elements of leveling as well as, the gear score? Just curious what you think. We've had a couple of different opinions about sort of the New World grind or endgame grind, about how to get the max gear score to go up. And we've had some people say there are great routes if you run them with about 10 people. It's super lucrative. We've had other people say the routes aren't that great. The devs themselves have weighed in and said there are a lot of the grinds and routes in New World gameplay. Those routes are suboptimal, right? And they're also looking at the tuning orb. They're saying that's a slog. Maybe they'll speed that up. So happy birthday, Lono. Thank you, Snow. I appreciate that. It seems like you've never been to a show like this. You ever been to a Slipknot show? I've been to some crazy shows, bro. And this might shock you. Nobody died. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. I've been to some outdoor festivals and small little dives and rundown bars. And it's crazy that, I walked out of that place and so did everybody else alive. First, happy birthday. Second chance, you and Hilly might play Minecraft Dungeons on a Friday. I just don't think that would fit. I think Minecraft Dungeons is super charming and fun, but I don't think so. Shout out the shards. That's not, no, Snow. That's not what the shout to the stars. Or shout the starts. Shout to the starts. What is it? Shoot for the stars. And he said shout the starts, I think is what he said. You don't understand hype? You're right. You're right. I don't understand hype. If I better understood hype, I'd overlook people dying, you know? It'd be easier for me to do that, you know? It'd be a lot easier for me to do that. If I just had the mental capacity to understand hype, you know? It's just... It's my fault. It is. It's my fault. It's my lack of understanding. It really is. Oh. I've been to rubber shows in a pot rabber. Yeah. That's the part that I'm enjoying, Eugene. I've been to shows. I have been to like heavy metal. People are wearing bandanas and acting crazy shows where people are like throwing punches. I've been to a show. I've never seen this before. It was insane. They literally had everybody split and go to each individual side, and they're like, doon 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 doon, and they're like building this crazy thing, and I'm like, what's gonna happen? And they're like, yo, and like everybody just runs into each other. I was like, what? Why would you do that? And I mean, people got hurt, bloody noses, black eyes. I was like, oh my gosh. And everybody was fine. Wall of Death. You guys know what it is. You're calling it something. Wall of Death. I was like, what is happening? What is going on? Like, guys are coming out, like, wiping blood off their face. Like, this is great. I'm like, sure, bro, whatever you say, man. Hopefully you don't lose any teeth. But I don't understand height. I don't understand hype, guys. You know, if only I understood hype, I'd understand how crazy those concerts can get. Which server are you on? It's right up here, brother. Eden. And we are Syndicate, and that's the name of our company. Rageous Roast Coffee. Gotta love a good Wall of Death. I mean, I'll be honest, I don't like going up for those shows. I just don't. I don't like going up. Another coffee order. A bag of Frickmas to Jay White. My man. Thank you so much, Jay. I took an elbow to the chin once and was like, wait, what am I doing? I'm going to grow up and be a dumpy lawyer. I should not be here. That's it. Shout for the starts. Thank you, Agent Atwood. My gear score of my actual gear is 530, says Harry. I can do every content and be top 10 in every outpost rush I play, and I don't need high gear score. Making it quicker just removes the hardcore grind for casuals who don't care. Oh, there you go, D-Tom. Nice Christmas tree with your Frickmas blend. Thank you, man. Thank you for that picture. Well, Harry, don't you think, though, do you think in this environment you're applying an argumentation that I have always found myself at odds with? And the argumentation is that generosity is the enemy of engagement. And I have always said that it is not. It is the promoter of engagement. So in your mind, generosity in this venue, in the New World Endgame, you're saying that would make people, it would be too easy and then they'll just stop playing? You think casuals are level 60 and going to be running this content, 61 plus, and expeditions that have like, what, 65 level enemies? You think casuals are hanging out there? At your age, shout out the shards makes sense too. Oh, whatever, Snow. I'm only 40. Give me a break. Marksman coming in with a brand new membership. Enjoy the dope badge and emotes. Thank you guys for all of the members today. 5 new members. Appreciate that very, very, very much. We would love to see. Oh, look at these coffee tweets. Giving some retweets here to the homies. Giving some retweets here. Thank you for those pictures. Amazing. So great. That reminds me, I have a tweet I need to send. I've been sending out highlights from the AMAs that I thought were really, really good. And if you got caught up in it, is going out now. If the content loop sucks, then people will bail when they get their drops. If the content loop is fun, then you're going to keep contenting. Harry says, I think in the endgame, where there is already not a ton of content, a daily grind that takes you around the map, engaging in a lot of different zones, is healthy in the current environment of the game. Boxers, briefs, depends. Depends. I'm not that old, Snow. What, did you guys plan this? My wife just came in and asked if I needed my Fiber One medicine. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. The birthday vibe is supposed to be fun, not making fun of how old I am. Happy birthday, Lono. Thank you, Cataclysmic. Okay, I mean, I guess my only thought is, Harry, the way you outlined it, okay, the New World gameplay content loop that you outlined, the way you outlined that content loop, I'm like, I don't know. It didn't sound to me like just sort of like a normal run-of-the-mill endgame content loop. You're like, take 10, max out your luck. Everybody has to be super don't rush ahead to get chests. I don't understand. But if I don't do it that way, am I gonna get a good result? Am I gonna get a good return on my investment? Do you understand? I had people tell me, just go to the new areas and grab all the quests, side quests, main quests. And you know what? They were full of crap. Because 50 to 60, that didn't do it. Like once a day, I would maybe move half a level just doing that. I always had to round things out with the town board grind. I have my life alert. Thank you very much. Chest Pain sent this. I do. There's a doorbell in the kitchen. I've never used it. You're 40. There is no fun. Only Zool. Oh, man. We're beating the old jokes to death. Wait, is that another old joke, though? We're beating the old jokes to death. If you just do it any way you want, Lono, you will have the experience I did, says Demetrius. That's my concern. That's what I'm saying. It's like, Demetrius is an experienced player, and he's like, I didn't have a good experience running this crap. I didn't get anything. Eternal with a $5 tip. Do you think war should randomly recruit a certain percentage of different level characters and maybe let the governors recruit a 10-man squad? I think that the governors should be able to pick 30. And then after that, it automatically assigns people that are trying to get in. And then if those people don't show up, then those governors or mayors can allot to select who fills those spots. I don't like the idea of like people not being able to participate because some guy's like, nah, man, I got my boys. You know, we got a great company going here. And I know people are going to push back and be like, well, they've invested more, or they've got all the power, they deserve that. No, it comes down to people being able to enjoy the game, not like ego stroking big companies. They'll be fine, trust me, if they only get to pick like 30. Not the remaining 30. Sorry, to be 30, the remaining 20. It's 50 slots. I'm sorry. For sure. Yeah, for sure. You need to be focused on increasing gear score. If you just do the quest or just randomly do elite zones, it'll take weeks to cap out gear score, even one piece. Old and short, winner, chicken dinner. What? You have a type? Like, what? Old and short? Hex doesn't look short to me. What did Daniel say? I don't see anybody in chat named Daniel. I'm not sure what you're talking about. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Atwood. Maybe that shake Lono drinks every morning is really insure. Tony says the issue is strategy. So you can't have the governor pick 30 people and the game pick 20 DPS, and now you're just going to get rammed. Okay, well, hang on, though. Couldn't you have the governor say, the remaining 20 spots, this is what we need, and you have to go and, like, apply? And he can pick, but he has to start picking people that either haven't been in one recently or isn't in his company. I don't know. You got to do something. You're making a good point. Like, you don't want to lose because the game randomly chooses like 20 scrubs that are like digging in the dirt. You know, you're like, come on, man, we need help. And they're like, what? I like to play with rocks. And you're like, oh no, we're gonna lose. Wise old grasshopper. I don't even look old. Right above the tip, he said something. Oh, yo, Lono, you should celebrate your B-Day playing a Destiny 2 raid. Like, if you're here trolling, there's such an effective door for you to leave through. So feel free, you know. Never come back. I told a guy this the other day on Presents, who left kind of a nasty passive swipe comment. I was like, you know what? I've been in such a better place. Like, my mental health has been in such a better place not having to put up with people like you. Like, you are not missed. My life's better without you. I have full gear and trophies for luck. The problem is, you do this grind to finally be able to do the dungeon to get the gear, but the dungeons can be done at like 500. There's no point to do it. Oncoming dungeons, though, right, Lewis? That would be what that would be my thought. That would be my thought. It's just Daniel's just playing with you. You gotta earn some rapport with me before you're gonna make a joke like that. Like, I let Eugene get away with a couple of those jokes a little while ago. He's been sleeping since 2019 and he just woke up. Okay, Raphael, you made it funny. You made it funny. He didn't make it funny. You made it funny. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. If he was just joking, it didn't, I don't know. There have been people coming in doing that. A guy did that yesterday. I had a premiere hit Presents. He's like, hey, man, I really missed your Destiny coverage. It's like, that's what you came here to say? That's what you came here to say? That's it? You full stop supporting my channel the minute I got banned, and you come back when I'm trying to change the direction of the channel. Like, I really miss your Destiny content. You know what I miss? I miss the same thing Bill Burr misses. I miss evidence. Allow leveling up to 1,000 with slow progression. It will keep people going. Well, I mean, more than likely, Eternal 8, they're going to raise caps when they expand the game. I don't think you're going to be... I don't think you're going to hit 60. I don't think you're going to hit 60 gear score 600 and be like, I'm done. Like, there's more. There's definitely more coming. Dimitri says, Harry, you're essentially saying you need to wear specific gear in order to have a reasonable gear score grind. It should be a reasonable in any gear and great in optimized gear. This is where I agree with Demetrius. I do not think when you've made it that far in the game, you have to fine-tune your luck to get good drops. I completely agree with what they said when they criticized Anthem and what the guy from Diablo said. It's just such a wasted perk slot. So I gotta spec my character just to grind for loot drops? Like, what? Like, why? I don't know. There's different philosophies here. I could see somebody being like, no, it's totally cool to spend the time and the investment and the grind and the crafting to create a loot set that allows you to get max luck. So your new world gameplay is improved and enhanced with better drops, and then you get the real gear that you want to wear. I could totally hear somebody making that argument, and I'd be like, I'm not convinced by your argument. It doesn't make any sense why that's in the game. It's like such a throwaway perk. The only reason to level up is to fine-tune your gear to the maximum. There's no reason to level it. But why is there not a reason to level it? Isn't there something beyond the horizon, Harry? Like, like getting the 600 and having everything exactly where you want it. There's got to be something around the corner that you would be doing that for. Maybe I'm being too presumptive, but that's kind of how these games go, is it not? If you're not interested in min-maxing your luck gear, why are you interested in min-maxing everything else? Because there's more content coming. Harry, I want you to imagine what do you think they're going to drop when they do like New World DLC? What do you think it's going to look like? Do you think you're going to stroll in there at 530 gear score and be like, I saw it, dude, and just kill everything? Probably not. You're probably going to want to be 6,600. I'm assuming, thank you, Rosie, for saying happy birthday. I'm assuming that what's beyond our vision right now, what's on the horizon in New World, isn't going to be 530. It's going to be 65 and to 70, and you're going to want to be 600 in there. You will get 600 without luck gear. I don't think that's in question. I think the experience is what we're questioning. Is that how, and see, here is where the devs, I think, are kind of adding to my argument. They're admitting that some of the grinds to raise gear score are suboptimal. They're saying that they're okay with there being a spectrum of like expeditions are the superior grind. You're telling me that they're not. You're running something completely different, which might change when they address the other thing they talked about, the fine-tuning orb, or tuning, or whatever it's called, like the tuning orb. When they get that to be less of a slog, you might say, oh, no, that farm isn't good anymore. Just get the tuning orb and run the expedition. Gear. Gear. Like, that turnover would be better. It's just like telling me, let's flip it around, Harry. It'd be like telling me, you're going to get to level 60, Lono, so quit complaining. Well, okay, but that doesn't address what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the New World leveling experience, the experience of leveling. Why am I going to new territories and getting no XP? Let's say it another way and apply it to this situation. Why am I level 60 and grinding for gear score bumps and the grind is just awful? But why? What's the point? What's to be gained? Stop strangling the player and making them run through weird routes. Like, listen to what you're saying. They've created a spectrum of gear score grinds where you should primarily be focusing on dungeons, and you're not. Why? Because you found some secret sauce perfect recipe of luck and 10 people and a route. Now, I'm okay with the open world routes being rewarding. I don't think you should be only focusing on dungeons. That's a really narrow end game. So I have no problem with the fact that, like, you've unearthed a good grind in the game. But at the current juncture, it sounds like that's literally the secret recipe for effective end game grinding, and that doesn't sound like a good system to me. It's a good start, but I do not think that's not a good holistic system. It's a starting place. Okay, we have these options. All right, fine tune it so it doesn't suck. Like, no one. So I gotta create a full luck set and run this route. Well, what about the dungeons? No, don't worry about the dungeons. Okay. Well, let's say they fix the fine tuning orb. Okay, the tuning orb. They fix that. And then you're gonna go and run these dungeons with luck gear instead of the gear that you like. Like. And you're going to be like, oh, it's fine. You can run luck gear and do just fine, do just plenty of damage. But that's incentivization breakdown. I am incentivized to get the best gear for my build and craft the build so I can be strong. So when I go into these environments, my healing is good and my health is good and my damage output's good. And you're telling me, well, no, you're going to want to run luck gear to get the best drops. That's the problem with luck gear. Because that's incentivization breakdown. So the entire time I've been playing the game up to this point, I've been trying to make sure my build is good so that when I go into challenging areas, I'm ready to play the healing role. But I'm supposed to, when I get to 60, do something completely different, which is craft a luck build. Wait, what? I spent all this time getting a build so I can be decent and strong and helpful in the end game. And if I want decent drops, I need to wear luck gear? Come on. It's just like the guy said in the Diablo 2 loot system. They got rid of, I think it was called Magic Find. I believe that's what it was called. 2 more coffee orders. You guys are nuts. A bag of Frickmas and Dark to MVP 005 and a bag of Frickmas Dark and Light to Red Stag Rambo. I have a $7 80s Tees gift card. I wonder if he's wanting me to give that to somebody, like a giveaway in the audience. If you have good gear, why would you need a luck build for loot? You have the gear you want. Harry. Because you want the gear score to go up because you're anticipating more content coming. If I have a good gear set at 60 and I'm going into dungeons and fighting 61 to 65 enemies so that they can drop higher gear score items for me, I'm doing that because I know there's more content coming. 530 isn't the end of the road. It's an MMO. There's more coming. You make builds for farming, for harvesting, Tanner for skinning, Luck for grinding drops. There's a flaw in your argument, Skyscraper. It's a well-made point. There's a flaw in your argument. Because it just increases the efficiency of the farming and the harvesting. It's not like necessary. Like, the drops are so bad, it sounds like I have to wear luck. You also have to consider there's a giant difference between harvesting and chopping trees down and going in a dungeon. There's a big difference. So I would say the gear you're going into a dungeon with shouldn't be about luck. It should be about strength, power, resilience, healing, whatever. Like a maximized build. Pretty sure luck only affects quality of loot, not quantity. It seemed to me that Harry said it affected the drop consistency, and that there were certain things that wouldn't drop it, like certain bosses that just wouldn't drop anything if you weren't running a luck build. There's so much logic there that I just don't agree with, but I can't accurately say what I want to in 200 characters. And, well then, okay, let's make this more simple, Harry. What do you envision being the preparation route when new content drops? What do you think that would look like? That's what I'm curious about. Because it sounds to me like you're saying getting a max gear score is not that important, and if you really want to do it, you can run luck builds to get it. You've got this deprioritization of going for max gear score. And I'm asking, okay, you're probably right. I probably don't need to be a 600 gear score right now, but I have a feeling eventually I will want to be, because there's going to be more content, right? What do you see being the prep for that? Because apparently even they agree the current grinds to raise your gear score, they describe them as suboptimal, and they describe the tuning orb as being too much of a slog to consistently run expeditions. So the devs are agreeing with me to a point. I'm not saying they 100% agree with me. To a degree, they agree with what I'm saying, that currently the route to a max level gear score is not set up it's not set up well. It's okay. It's not terrible, but it's not set up very well. I give them full marks. The principles in place of slot leveling, RNG protection, and there was one other thing. Just in general of respecting the player's time. I will say they've got the right approach so that if they fine-tune some of this stuff, I think it'll be in a much better place. I think they've got a good foundation of respecting the player's time and not wasting drops like freaking Destiny would do. You'd take the time to play 5 games of Gambit and be like, great, another pair of boots that does nothing for me. So you literally just wasted 2 hours of my life, right? Like, that was the most frustrating aspect of that game's leveling. And this system that they built for gear score, increasing your gear score, is, I think, a great foundation. What are you going to do once you max your gear score, though? You may have just gotten here. There's more content on the way, so my assumption is having max gear score is you preparing for that content. You think they're going to expand the map and drop 6 more dungeons, and you're going to stroll in there at 530 gear score and be like, I'm good to go? You think they're going to do that? You think that's the end game for them, is just leave everybody at level 60, and if you want to, you can go from 530 to 600 on their gear score, but you don't really have to, and then all the new dungeons will be doable at your level? It stands to reason that that's not how they're going to do it. That's not how MMOs expand. So, getting to 600, you may think it doesn't matter right now, and for all intents and purposes, it might not matter that much right now, but it's going to matter a lot once they start expanding the game and adding more content. How could it not? You know what this sounds like? People that have asked, why do you care about a 5 out of 5 roll on your gun when none of the content requires God rolls? Well, that was a little bit different. It was a little bit different, but I see where you're coming from, Eugene. Getting the max should be very hard, though, or players will leave early. I think that is a myth. That's the boogeyman. And I'll tell you why. Because the guy that worked on Diablo's Loot 2.0 system said that they noticed a change in the dialogue and the behavior of the players when they turned up the generosity. He said players went from saying, I'm just trying to get this one item, to instead saying, I'm trying to get a good version of this item. Gear score and leveling should be somewhat automatic. What happens after that is you pursuing the best gear. RNG has its place. Making sure somebody doesn't have the absolute best gears, loot set up and loadout after a weekend, that's totally fine. I'm not talking about that. You're acting like somebody's going to hit level 600 and be like, done! I invested 285 hours into this game, got to gear score 600, and I'm done. Uninstall. No one's doing that. No one that puts that amount of time into the game is going to quit just because the gear score says 600. That is a myth. That's the boogeyman. You're making something up. No, that player doesn't exist. Okay, we got there. I'm trying to find a way to type it out. Give me a minute. Okay, Harry. I mean, I like these discussions. I mean, this takes me back. This is we back in that, like, we used to do this with Destiny, right? EverQuest 2 expansions, you didn't need fully geared Toon to progress. If you were fully raid geared, then the new content would be easier, but Joe Casual could still do the content. Silent Warrior, that's probably not going to be true about the dungeons, though, homie. You have to see. The dungeons have gone up. 25, 35, 45, 55, 65, 65. The last two are like 65, 65, and then the one before the last two is like 55. The one we just played, right? Dynasty Shipyards? I think we played 4 dungeons, have we not? Maybe 3? I think we played 3 or 4. I can't remember. The point is they go up. So I can't see them expanding the game and adding 6 more dungeons and you strolling in at 530 and being like, I have no need to do the 600 gear score grind. That doesn't make any sense. Why even have it? Get beyond the debate that we're having right now. Why even have it? Why even have the gear score to go to 600 then if there's not a point in the game where you're going to feel that need? If you're into PvP, yes, you will hang around, but the PvEers won't hang around until new content is released. Wrong. That is so wrong. If I want you to imagine a world where you're playing New World and you efficiently got to 60 and level 600, and you're like, I'm done. No, because if they set up generous routes for you to get dope gear, you're going to go until you have the build that you want. Keep in mind, even if you somehow shoot the rainbow and get everything you possibly could need for your hatchet healing staff build, you're not necessarily done then either. Why? Because you might decide, you know what? I could work on a sword and shield tank build. Do you know how long that would take? Do you know how long that would take? And then you do that. You know, it'd be really fun. I heard that ice gauntlet pairs really, really well with the healing staff. I'm gonna go for one of those builds. Do you have any idea how long it would take you to actually have a variety of builds, from the armor to the stats to the perks to getting the right like actual ice gauntlet that has the stuff? It would take you forever. There is no generous new world environment where people are like, I'm done, bro. 300 hours, level 600 gear score, level 60 character, and I'm done. They would start working on other stuff. This game is virtually right now, it's almost endless. You'd have to be the most no-life of the no-life king to even remotely have a handful of 60 level 600 gear score max builds. You'd have to literally do nothing else with your life. And if that small percentage of player takes advantage of the generosity and ends up with a handful of builds and stops playing, they are the minority. I have no idea. My total knowledge of the game is watching you play it. I'm going by experience. Okay, well, then everything I just said may be news to you. Because, like, you'd... Let me read what Harry's saying. The best loot in the game is crafted. The only reason to get to 600 Watermark is that it allows more gear schematics to drop, which have been unavailable due to a bug. If you want good gear for dungeons to feel strong, you can get it right now, level up your trade skills, and craft that gear that you want. Grind the mats in the dungeons, you can be 600 gear score with a lower Watermark. I think so much faster than I type, so I might have missed out some connecting bits, but that is something to take note. Okay. So that's not necessarily answering my question, though, Harry. So you're saying there's other routes to 600, and you can do it in a variety of ways. It felt to me like the debate was breaking down on one point, in that you don't really need to go to 600. There's no point, right? I think you even said earlier you can run all the endgame stuff, and you've not been 600. You've had a just defined experience, which would make sense because the content needs to be doable before your gear score 600. That wouldn't make any sense. My question is, if the grind to 600 is an unenjoyable or narrow or choked experience, isn't that something people are going to have to do when new content comes out? You said there's 6 more dungeons coming. I would imagine we're going to have to gear up for that, not just stroll in with what we have now. Happy birthday, thank you. I can't believe I have to reference the other game. You think they've maintained that base because they've become more stingy with loot paths? No, they've maintained it because over time, his next sentence is going to be, they've increased loot generosity and player agency. I'm assuming that's what Eugene is gonna say in his next comment. It became easier to obtain the loot you want. Yeah, there you go. People put the game down happily and come back. That's exactly right. I always said this when we covered the other game. People are going to quit and take breaks no matter what. Do you want them to do that because they are satisfied and got the loot that they wanted and got the build that they wanted, or do you want them to do that because they're freaking worn out and annoyed? Which impetus for a break do you think brings a player back more likely? I think the player who feels like, dude, that was great, 300 some odd hours, I'm leaving on a high note. You're going to come back. I can give you an example of why I know this is true. When I end a session in Lost Ark and I do a dungeon, I get some loot. Ooh, yeah. Awesome. Put the game down. What does that create? What does that typically create in you and in me? Got a little itch. I gotta get back in there tomorrow, dude. I want to go to the next area. I want to do another dungeon. I want to get that ding for the level. Ding! I want to get that loot to drop. Why? Because I got it the day before. Now let me give you a thought experiment. If the first 2 times I played Lost Ark, I ended and felt strained, annoyed, like the game was kind of stingy, didn't really get anything, that itch isn't quite going to be as strong. I may decide not to play after 2 or 3 days. Be like, eh. But Lost Ark is so good about this. Like, I run a loop, get drops. Oh, I'm coming back tomorrow for more. Right? Apply this philosophy to what we're talking about. If you stretch the player's satisfaction, it breaks. It's like, nah, I ain't coming back, dude. If the gear drops easily, you undermine all the crafting elements. Why invest in making gear if it drops in the wild? If you undermine crafting, then there's no point farming resources. I feel like we're ships passing in the night, because I break it down this way. Getting the 600 gear score is just another milestone that leads to a new grind, right? So you get to 60, and suddenly that's a milestone that leads to a new grind. Now you're trying to get gear score up to 600. Once you get gear score up to 600, you are now in a new grind. What grind is that? I want good drops at 600. So I'm going to run dungeons or elite farms or whatever the frick. I'm going to go to areas where I know good stuff can drop so that I can start to have the best build possible at 600. This is when you apply RNG protections. I have not once said, oh yeah, get to 600 and then let me just get all the loot that I want. Now, the crafting the best gear and maybe going and farming the best gear, that's a separate debate we're going to have maybe another time, or maybe today, I don't know. I am pro drops. I should be getting the best loot from a dungeon, from a boss. That's what I should be. That's my philosophy. I don't think you should be able to just like farm, make the best loot. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's as satisfying as ding. Oh, I finally got the life staff from this dungeon. Let me check its stats. I think the two are completely different with respect to like the dopamine hit, right? Shut up, Wheezy. Thanks for the DM. $10 from Master Ty. These debates are why I love the show and why I don't even play New World. Happy actual B-Day. Thank you, Master Ty. The food buffs of real value are the 15 crafting foods. Do you see what I'm saying, though? Like, in my mind, you get to 60, and then you get to gear score 600, and then you start to go get the best gear. I think you're separating it too much. As soon as you hit 60, you're grinding for gear. When increasing Watermark, that's not the only goal. Well, then, Harry, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with a life staff that's a god? Let's say it's a god roll. It's everything I want. It fits my build perfectly. And its gear score is like 540. What am I going to do with that when new content comes out and I really need to be gear score 600? Do you see what I'm saying? Unless I'm completely misunderstanding, a gear score of 600 on that life staff would mean that it would be better. All of its stats would be higher, meaning it's spec'd and built for content that is assuming a gear score of 600, a power spectrum of that. It's assuming I'm going to be at that level. Use it until you get a higher gear score version. Yeah. But but I'm not debating about that. I'm debating about the experience of getting to gear score 600. You guys continue to push back and say you don't need to be gear score 600. It doesn't matter. And I've continued to say the ongoing content plan will make that statement untrue very quickly. I guarantee you. Deadly Dad Gaming with a 10 spot. Happy birthday, old man Lono. Thank you, sir. Crafting is effective, but it's very time consuming. The 500 gear cannot be crafted until you reach 150 armoring. You can also only dictate one perk on the armor. You use it until you find gear score 600 version. Not all gear score 600 items are worth your time. You're putting too much value on gear score. The difference between a 540 and a 600 is essentially nothing. That seems... Come on. Yeah, like what Eugene is saying, then why is gear score even in the game if a 540 and a 600 have marginal differences? That's got to be an oversimplification. There's going to be content where you're going to want to be 600 min-maxed. Come on. That has to be true. They have to have content right now that is going to make you say, bro, you're going to need to be gear score 600 min-max to play this content. 600 gear literally has an extra perk. It's huge, says Lewis. Lono's old man emote has been renamed to normal Lono. Shut up, Nova. If you look at WoW, you could get the best gear on as soon as the expansion hits. That gear isn't worth crap as greens in the new area drop higher. I'm pretty sure that the higher gear score affects your stats like resist and such. That's because 600 is a point that allows for the best drops. Who has a Christmas tree already? We went over to some friend's house and they already had their Christmas tree up. Oh, man. Sorry, I was looking at the tweets. I've been tweeting out highlights from the AMAs. Happy birthday, fellows 40 Club member. Thank you, Dracus. Get used to things hurting for no reason. Yeah. Your ankle's just worn out. You just do that now. That's what I've been saying. A 520 faction armor was better than 590 armor because it was a god roll. Well, then, Harry, track with me here. Doesn't that mean that they should look at that? That sounds I'm going to use the word. That sounds broken to me. That doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't work that way. A 600 gear score item should be at least base level better than like a god roll piece at 520. Because it should just have more stuff, more stats. Did someone say broken? Yeah. Happy V-Day, Lono. Haven't been here recently. Crazy work hours. No worries, J-Stock. Thank you. Hey, I will be the first to admit there are aspects of this game that are broken. That doesn't mean the game is broken. I push back on the overuse of that statement because every game has problems, bugs, glitches, exploits, or systems that need to be fine-tuned. We don't say that every game is broken because then it becomes a meaningless statement. That was my issue with people like, New World's broken. Then every game is broken, and now we're not communicating anything of value. Like, every game has problems, day one patches, ongoing patches, bugs, glitches, exploits, and things that aren't quite structured properly. But you wouldn't be like, yep, that's a broken game. Because then you're going to literally say every game in existence is broken. And now you're communicating nothing. Like, every game has problems, okay? Thank you for saying something that we all know. Like, you're not communicating anything. But specifically saying, well, yeah, some of these endgame loot cycles are just, they're busted. They're not working right. That doesn't mean the game is broken. Gear score does not technically mean jack. The difference between a god roll 590 versus a basic 600. 590 would be the choice. Well, no, hang on a second. I understand that. What I'm saying is a 540 versus a 600. Yeah, sure. If you're comparing a legendary to a gray, well, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about running endgame content and getting 600 drops. I think we found Lono's rage word. No. It has nothing to do with the word broken. I, for years, covered a game whose community would jump to the most hyperbolic descriptions of problems, and it was exhausting, right? The Eververse is predatory. It's like, wow, you learned a buzzword on Reddit, and now you're misusing it. So the same thing applies here. I've always said, make good and accurate criticisms. Broad or more like negative lambasting, like broad stroke brush criticisms, they're worthless. This game's broken. Cool. What do you mean? Well, I got to level 60, and the tuning orb, I can't get the resources for it. So the game's broken because of that. Why don't you just say that? The game's got endgame loot cycles that are broken and busted. I'm not going to contest that. I'm like, oh, okay, what's going on? Oh, okay, let's provide that feedback. Let's provide insight, criticism, and good, bad, how to improve it, instead of, this game's broken. This game's broken is as honest as the people that are like, the population is in decline. And they base it off of Steam charts. Because people are going to click. This is what I'm hearing, says Eugene. Gear score doesn't matter, so you shouldn't care about it. So the system is fine because it's negligible, but if you do care, you need to run this specific build to make the unnecessary grind tolerable. That's a pretty good summary. Yeah. That's a pretty good summary. Like, the system is bad, but that's okay, because you don't really need the rewards from it. like, that's like saying, like, that'd be like going to an arcade, and you know the claw game? That'd be like saying, this claw game is busted. It doesn't work right. It can't grab any of the items. And you'd be like, that's okay. It's all junk anyway. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that the claw is busted. The system isn't working right. It's fine. You don't need any of this stuff anyway. It's all junk. Well, wait. Did you just justify the existence of a problem with another problem? Are you defending a bad system with another bad system? Because that's what it sounds like to me. Why would Gear Score 600 not matter? It should matter. Happy birthday, Lono. Much love. Thank you, Santiago. I think a way to solve this problem is to have endgame gear drop items with extra perks or an extremely inflated stat to make the endgame worth building. I'm going to tell you something right now. Upper Echelon was hyperbolic. He overstated his case. But I'm starting to smell, I'm telling you, I'm getting whiffs. What's that? I'm getting whiffs of Anthem. Not as bad as Anthem, okay? Anthem burnt the whole Thanksgiving dinner, okay? Right now, I'm smelling like the rolls are burning. It's like, wait a minute, this doesn't sound like you guys properly built the endgame, right? Now, the road to that endgame is great, enjoyable. Most of the players are perfectly happy. A lot of the servers are perfectly healthy, okay? But this is starting to smell like Anthem. I like this game. I'm expressing concern here. Keep that in mind. I like this game, but I don't want to get to an endgame that's like, yeah, sorry, your gear score doesn't really matter. The route to gear score 600 is kind of bad, and, yeah, there's even perks that don't work right. Like, what the frick? Well, incentivization breakdown's going to start to happen. The good news is that most of the player base isn't even close to caring about this or discovering it. That's not fair. They made good gravy. The flying felt so good. Even good gravy couldn't save that meal, Fuzzy. You could drown it in the gravy and it was still burnt to a crisp. It's all based on what you want to spec your character with. If you have a certain build, you are going to look for a specific rolled armor. That's why Gear Score 600 isn't as important as people think. Well, that can't be true long term. There's no way that's true long term. How is that true long term? In 3 months, we're all going to be chilling at 540 builds because they're god rolls? Santiago with 2 months. Lono, much love. Welcome to the best decade of your life. Wish you nothing but the best and plenty of health. Happy birthday. Thank you, Santiago. What's good, Pepper? Like, this can't be a perpetually... It can't be a perpetually true statement. It can't be that getting to 600 gear score doesn't matter. That can't be perpetually true. It may be momentarily true right now, But that can't possibly be perpetually true, that like we're going to get the middle of the summer next year and you're going to be running around New World with a 550 God roll build. That doesn't sound right to me. Once you reach 600, you will start getting new rolls and replacing said 540 rolls. That's what we've been talking about, Deadly. I see getting to a gear score 600 as a milestone that starts a new grind. The grind for all of the best loot at 600. Because a God rolled 600 life staff is going to be better than a God rolled 540 life staff. For what it's worth, this is kind of why I always said I wait a few weeks for people to get to the end before I buy games like this. And that doesn't really affect me because I'm the mid lane guy. Like, I'm like 56, 57. I'm still happy and having a good time. You know what I mean? I'm looking at it now in game. Higher gear score items will have overall higher base stats. So a 600 heavy chest piece will have higher base stats than a 540, such as the elemental and physical resist. That's exactly my point, Salty. Their point is, though, Salty, is that a God roll 540 versus a really poorly rolled 600, the 540 is going to be better because it's going to hit the right stats or have the right perks. It's going to buff the right thing. Some of the perks you can get are really excellent. You want the end game to be 600, and I'm happy with being between 500 and 600. Harry, I don't want the end game right now to be 600. Again, to restate it for like the umpteenth time, there's more content coming. I cannot see that we are living in the 500 to 600s 6 months from now. That doesn't stand to reason. You're going to want to be min-maxed 600 at some point. You're thinking it in almost narrowly, like right now. It's an MMO. Aren't they going to release 6 more dungeons? Aren't they going to release more stuff? And will it not then scale up? You think that you're going... Do you think that you're going to just stay where you are right now and then what? Grind for what? What will you be grinding for as the game expands? So sure, right now what you're saying is contextually, momentarily true. Long term, I have an issue with this because long term, you are describing a grind to raise your gear score. That is bad. And long term, raising your gear score is a pretty normal, common thing, I would imagine. And if the grind is still as sucky as it is now, people are going to get irritated and be like, I don't want to keep playing because raising my gear score is a headache. Case in point, the massive drop-offs that Destiny experienced when their leveling sucked. Why? Because people at the front of the wave were sick of the bad systems and they fell off. They're like, I'm done. I'm sick of this. Your more committed players hit that wall and they're like, this is awful. I don't want to do this. You have to have good content loops. Grinding for the skills and materials to let you make 650, 700 gear. That can't be the ongoing end game. There's got to be a reason to try to get dungeon gear. There's got to be a reason to try to get like drops. If you're always just crafting the best gear, I don't know. That doesn't feel that feels really one-sided. So the end game is just crafting the best stuff every single time. End game should never be just repeating content. I mean, that's your opinion. How do you not have an end game of repeating content in an MMO? What are you going to be doing then? Every ongoing live service game, you just described how they keep going. Repeating content. How has Destiny done it? How has Diablo done it? How has any of these games done it? That's what you do. You rerun the content. That's what it is. They're supposedly working on endgame raids for large groups. the Elden Ring tests are going out. I've not gotten mine yet. You can't stream it, but I'd still probably poke around in there for a couple hours off stream. Not just dungeons, but actual raids. I've heard similar rumors that like larger scale, bigger content raids. Yeah, I've heard similar rumors. I actually think they could probably do a very good job because I think their dungeon structures, their dungeon design has been excellent. We have no clue how new content will be dropped in this game, so we can't say whether the current system works or not in terms of future drops. I think I can... I think I can criticize the existing system, and I think, Harry, I can do it in good company when the developers themselves are saying there are aspects of the gear score grind that are suboptimal and not working exactly how they want them. I think I'm in good company when even the devs are like, this isn't how we want it. We're going to look at some of this stuff to smooth it out and make it more rewarding and it's more healthy, more natural. Record vids for when the embargo lifts. Oh, right, for sure. Even if you can't stream, could you talk about stuff? Not anything super specific, but maybe if the game has a deflect system like Sekiro. I have to read the finer points of what what you agree to when you get in, because I have no idea. We appreciate the strong turnout today. I think most of you are return viewers, which is excellent. We appreciate your support of my New World coverage. We will be playing Lost Ark later today as well, and we appreciate you guys tuning in. If you're new and you've hit subscribe, feel free to introduce yourself. This is not a huge searched term right now, so we're not getting a ton of people interested in the actual Watermark discussion, but if you want to take the poll at the top, it is basically with respect to that grind. Real question is, did you get in? I keep checking Wii's. I don't think if they might be sending them out in waves. So I think when I applied, I selected PS5 on purpose because typically they want as many people testing the multiple platforms as possible, and PS5s, I'm in probably a small application pool when I select PS5. So I do that very intentional when I apply for stuff like this. If I can select PS5, I select PS5 because there's probably less people doing that, so that increases my likelihood of getting selected. Hello everyone, my name is Abe and I'm addicted to the Rageless Roast. How many did we sell today? Holy moly, we've had so many coffee sales today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 sales today. You guys are nuts. I just have no hopes. You select PS5 as well. I'm new. Lono, you seem like a guy whose favorite movie is The Last Jedi. Oh, you got one, Gale? Okay. I hope and pray. Would love to see your channel blowing up with Elden Ring. So for those of you that are interested in Elden Ring or From Software games, we are going to make a slight change to Fridays, and that is we're going to do our best to select lead topics that are Elden Ring focused for Friday morning to set the table for Elden Ring, but to also set the table for Dark Souls 3 this week, and then hopefully next week we're into Sekiro. So the idea being it will literally be from Friday. We think that'd be a really good approach to meeting tons of people that would then hopefully then enjoy our Elden Ring coverage. So you didn't enter multiple times, right? No, just the one time. Just the once. I went and did the thing, put in all my info, and then I said PS5. So can I DM you somehow? Do you use Twitter, or you could use my email? Yeah. I'm sad about it because I won't get in, but when I signed up at Halo Flights, I got in first time. Wheezy, they might be sending out in waves. That they're saying check your emails. They usually don't do them all at the exact same time. It's usually every 20 minutes or so, because there's limiters on how you if you're going to send mass emails like that. There's limiters. You can't just hit everybody up at the same time, unless it's a newsletter, but that's different because that's an opt-in service that they're allowed to, I think, hit all at the same time. You want to play badly so you won't get in? Oh, quit being that way. Can you ship the roasters whole bean? I grind my own beans depending on how I prepare the coffee. We cannot ship them whole bean, no. I order in bulk. I get like 500 bags on a skid in boxes of like 20 at my house. And I can't say, hey, could you do half of the bags whole bean? I can't do that, unfortunately. Now, maybe the company that we go with eventually offers that as a service, because that'd be amazing. Like, hey, can you shave off 100 whole bean bags and then send the rest, ground? They don't currently offer that. So it'd be great if they do, because they're doing well and they're being successful. Like, some of the reasons we had trouble earlier this year is they were struggling to scale with growth. So it's a more coarse grind, so if you need fine, you can grind it down, says Eugene. Yeah, it's definitely not a fine. It's not fine. It's in the middle. It's like a medium to coarse grind level. So yeah, if you need it to go down to fine, you can always throw it in a grinder, and take it down if you're using like an espresso machine or something. If you guys want to weigh in on New World gameplay, take the poll. The New World high watermark system. Should RNG be in gear leveling? Let us know what you think. My man Ben with a $40 tip. So generous. Happy birthday, my good man. I appreciate that very much. Thank you, man. You guys have been very generous for my birthday. My family hung this up last night. My kiddos worked very hard on it, so I was like, okay, it's staying up. I figured you guys would really, really like it. If you're new and haven't hit subscribe yet, feel free to subscribe and introduce yourself. You do need to be a subscriber to talk in chat. Subscribing is totally free. A lot of new subscribers today, so thank you so much for all the new subs. We are really close to rolling over the sub count to 7.9, and that'll get us even closer to 8K subs. Really excited to see 10K subs on this channel. It'll really help. We unlock some monetization and community features at 10K, so you usually grind coarser for a press. I mean, you could always, like, Eugene said earlier, he prefers whole bean, but he likes my coffee the way that it comes. So you shouldn't be disappointed. Let's see, a pending friend request from Gail. All right, I got you, Gail. And he says, "Who's supposed to win myself? Want to support the channel this way possible? Not you myself, or you in trouble?" I mean, you're not gonna get me in trouble if you. What are you gonna do, Gail? Let's get that 10K before Feb and things will take off. I think we can hit 10K before February. I think so. We got all of November still, and then we got December and January. So, how well did my special drawing come out? I drew it this morning, Abe. I text my wife. I was like, oh my gosh, because I freaked out. I was like, oh no, they're gonna start bagging coffee, and I forgot to do it. So I text her. I was like, and so she brought down a piece of paper and colored pencils. So, did I get a code? Gail's saying I can give my code to you. Oh, I mean, let's wait until the end of the day, Gail. I might get one. So, I mean, I really appreciate that's very generous, homie. You don't have to do that. You do not have to do that. Are you going to check out Illuvium, or is it not your thing? I don't even know what that is. I don't know what that is. I put your name on the front, Abe, and I put a heart around it. So it's like a little homemade card for you. Ooh, just trying to get that neck to pop, dude. Feels so good. I've gotten some good neck pops today. Some good ones. He can give it to me. Well, if he doesn't give it to me, he's probably going to keep it for himself, dude. You'll definitely hit 10K when Elden Ring drops. I really, really, really hope we can man, if we can cover Elden Ring, I am going to be just absolutely thrilled, because I think we could do some really, really fun stuff with that game. I really, really do. There's a lot there, man. There's a lot there. And Lost Ark. The tweet says, so far EU and Asia code seems to be out. NA should be soon. Okay. So it looks like America hasn't sent out yet. If someone doesn't want a code, I'll take it. He wants it, Wheezy. He's offering it to me so I can get some footage. He says, let me know it is your B-Day after all. I appreciate that, Gail. You've always been a good dude. You can be a little like persnickety. We've had some pretty good debates, you and I, but you're a good dude. Trust me, you'll be able to cover Elden Ring, gathering, crafting, looting, boss fights, dungeons. Oh yeah. I've got ideas, Ashen. I'm telling you, man, the future is... Can you imagine in 2022 if the channel just actually does what we wanted and we're covering 2 MMOs and a Souls game? What a world, man. What a world. Just remember me at all? I changed my real name. I remember even what you look like. You have like, maybe not now, but you had like really, really trimmed on the sides hair and like top. I think you kind of combed it back or like, yeah. You're, I can't remember. Are you from Germany or Holland or something? Norwegian? You're somewhere over there. You're not in America. Elden Ring will have such a broader audience with consoles in play. Yeah, it will. We don't know about crossplay though. It looks interesting anyway. It's kind of like a more mature Pokemon game with open world art. Looks fantastic. And it's blockchain game model. Yeah. Wait a minute. Is that one where they like have like the big crazy fights? I think I remember that. Finland. Scary accurate? Homie, I remember people. I would have people resub to me on Purple, and they had changed their name, and I'm like, you've changed your username. I'd be like, nobody's been subbed to me that long with that username. I mean, I've always been very good at remembering people's usernames and stuff from Purple, especially longtime supporters. Crossplay between console generations. Oh, no crossplay. Oh, shoot. Shoot, because you know I'm gonna have to play on PC, dude. You know. 10 spot from Daniel Rodriguez. Yo, Lono, sorry about the joke. It was acid, I admit it. Happy B-Day. Anyway, hope you have a great day. I recognize your avatar, Daniel. I was like, I thought you were being... You never know. I've had people that have been around for a long time suddenly turn really sour on me, so I wasn't sure. Especially people that liked my Destiny coverage. I had a lot of people turn really sour on me because they thought I didn't handle it right or whatever the frick. So I knew I recognized your Avi. I was like, wait a minute, he's left some nice comments recently. So no worries. Thank you. DBS with a 10 spot. Thank you, DBS Purge, for a $10 tip. Happy birthday. May God continue to bless you in this next year in your life. Good things are happening. I appreciate that, DBS. Thank you. I had to ask who I was when I first came to the YouTube stream, though. Harry. You were Harry the Tapier in Harry Tapier. And, like, come on. I'm supposed to know that you're the Harry from... It's such a common name. And your Avi is just somebody sitting on a rock looking at like a mountain or something. I don't know. Now, if your Avi would have been a Tapier, then I would have known it was you. Email will be probably showing up in the promotions tab. Okay. The irony of a man named Gael offering his code. It's Gale. Not Gael. Come on now. Happy birthday. Thank you, Asian Slick Slaya. I appreciate that. Thank you. 10 spot from Red Demon Eyes. Happy birthday, Lono. Keep up the great work. Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys have been very generous today with the tips through Super Chat. Have you looked into Gunfire Reborn? It looks like it could be a good Friday Hilly game, like an FPS roguelike hero shooter. If it's too intense, it doesn't work for us. Like, the escape simulator has been so perfect. We just get to chill and laugh, and obviously we get a little... I do think the best will always probably be It Takes Two. That'll always be like our magnum opus. But it's got to be laid back. So really intense stuff, I don't know. I've known you over 6 years. You should recognize my comedic genius. Okay, well, let's settle down. Let's settle down here. They sent the codes. Apparently, they have sent the Elden Ring codes to the EU and Asian regions. North America has not received codes yet. I'm obviously continuing to check. So, and checking my inbox for, you know, millions of dollars and spicy pictures. I've not gotten either. So, I don't know where the millionaires are, you know, but, yo, happy birthday, Mac. Is Mo talking? I don't see Big Mad Mo talking. Mo, no, I do. He says Google Halo Infinite and look what it says. What do you mean? You're saying is Google dumb? I Googled Halo Infinite. What am I supposed to be seeing? Halo Infinite coming day one to Xbox Game Pass. It's got a description. Halo Infinite on Steam. It's already in there with a placeholder. What am I supposed to be seeing, Mo? According to Google, it comes out Monday. Well, wasn't it originally supposed to come out then? They may have just not updated the release date. Because Steam says December the 8th. All right, Halo Infinite release date. No, it says December the 8th when I search release date. I'm not seeing what you're seeing. I'm seeing December the 8th everywhere. Sandy with a $20 tip. Happy birthday, old man. Thank you, lady. I appreciate that. Only 999,000 gifts. Not any millions yet. That's right. That's right. That's my scam. It was never supposed to come out. There was a No. That's not true. There was a speculated November the 15th release date at one point. Was there not? I remember us talking about that. Some of us respect your wife too much to say you spicy photos. I was hoping to get like spicy food. You're like, oh, dang it. Barryman's like, send them to me. I'm separated. Halo Infinite. I don't know why it's showing you that. I don't see that, Coyote. Yeah, when I search Halo Infinite, I don't see a 5-day countdown. I don't see that at all. That's bait? Yeah, I don't know. It could be a oh no. We'd love to learn more about the biggest Web3 needs. Can you help us out by completing? Are you familiar with NFTs? Oh, what NFTs are coming to Discord? We thought it might hit that date to be in running for Game of the Year. Yeah, a lot of people were speculating November the 15th, so it's possible that somewhere Google plugged that in. Because you have to release by November the 15th to be in contention for Game of the Year 2021. And a lot of people thought Halo's going to try and do that because there won't be any competition. I consistently said that Microsoft and Sony were going to do everything they could to get Horizon Forbidden West and Halo Infinite out before the 15th of November. That was a common dialogue here as well as other places. So more than likely, you know, Google plugged that in somewhere, right? They plugged that in, and it's because I'm not getting that when I Google Halo Infinite. I don't know why you're seeing that. So it could be a glitch in the Matrix. I don't know. Why would they do that? Okay. Spectrum just randomly changed my account number. I'm like, all right, okay. Might be a stretch, but I started watching you when you had like 100 viewers, talking like 5 or 6 years ago. I used to give you a hard time about looking like Tom Green. Not sure if you remember. I think I remember that. I do. Your name wasn't Reflection Paints, though. It was like Reflections, and then you had like a clan tag attached to your name or something, like THZ Reflections or something, and maybe Reflections was spelled with a Z at the end or an S. That's what I remember. I could be wrong. I plan on playing Elden Ring, but I've never played a Souls game before. Should I jump right in or start with a different game? I would try out either... I would take a crack at Sekiro. It seems like there's going to be a lot of similarities to Sekiro. Either Sekiro or Dark Souls 3, just to feel out the combat. If you've never played them before, you're not gonna like it. You're gonna get very frustrated. You're gonna have to put it down and come back and put it down and come back. Like, if you want to enjoy Elden Ring, then Dark Souls 3 would be very good, or Sekiro. But you gotta understand, I had such a unique advantage. I had people helping me, telling me where to go, telling me what specs to invest in. That makes a huge difference. I would not be surprised if a lot of people end up playing games like Dark Souls and they get irritated because their build sucks. So it takes them forever to kill bosses and they can't survive, or they're fat rolling, like, because they think they want a ton of armor. It was Scognatius at the time. I must be thinking of somebody else with a name like Reflections. I think there were guys that played like Fortnite that had that name. I don't remember the name Scognatius. That's not familiar to me. Dark Souls 3 was the game that finally converted me to a Souls fanatic. I get completely obliterated playing Sekiro as a beginning player. I was a beginner player and I got all the way to Madame Butterfly. And when she came back to life, I put the game down. Now, I didn't put the game down necessarily because I like raged out. It just didn't fit with my content plan, and I was annoyed. I was like, I don't want to play a game that annoys me. Like, I didn't want to play a game in the afternoon that was going to tick me off. I was a very different player back then. You got to understand, I sat in orbit for 6 hours and then went and tried to play Sekiro. I mean, I did just fine. Eugene says, it's my first and only game is Sekiro and I'm liking it. Yeah, Eugene is all the way past like the ape and stuff. I think Sekiro is the one to go with. I don't know. I feel like Dark Souls is just so much like, welcome home, Action 1. And you're like, what do I use? Where do I spend my points? Touch the darkness inside me. And you're like, I don't, what the frick does that mean? What do I do? That's not the brag you think it is? I'm not bragging, right? Oh, I'm not liking it, I'm killing it. Yeah, I mean, Eugene is doing just fine in Sekiro, and he's not a Souls guy. I don't know. I think I'm telling you right now, part of the reason people were playing Dark Souls traditionally and getting irritated was because they were fighting a boss that took 1,000 years because their build probably sucked. And they had no idea why they were doing no damage and why they had no endurance and why this or why that. Like, I guarantee you there are a ton of people that feel that way. They're like, what the actual frick? Like, why, this boss taking forever. Remember the one boss I went in and I hit him like 8 times and he was dead? And people were like, oh my gosh, I forgot how crazy, Lono's damage is. My DPS was stupid. And it made all the difference in the world. And I didn't get there on my own. I had people help me. A lot of people helping me. Let's see. Hang on. This will be a Lost Ark Gunner gameplay showcase. I'm going to add that as a tag. Let's see. We gotta get the next stream set up. I was not watching the time. We've had a great morning if that's the case. Let's see. We'll schedule it for that just so people get hit with the 30. You starting Sekiro this Friday? No, we have one more boss to fight in Dark Souls 3. One more boss to fight in Dark Souls 3. That's why I need Ashton looking over my shoulder when I play Elden Ring. Yeah. Yep. I'm telling you, it makes all the difference in the world. I mean, because a lot of people are like, man, these games aren't hard. Lono just beat that boss on like his 7th try. I went back and watched, by the way. Most of the bosses have taken me 10 tries and under, and the twin princes or whatever they're called, I beat them on my 11th try. That's pretty good. I mean, I'll toot my own horn if nobody else will. Giggity. 11th try on the second to last boss. Like, that's not too bad. I would have easily done it in under 10 if I'd have known about, like, the go in the room and stand there. Go in the room and stand there, and it prevents all that early bad teleport damage that he gets on you. Like, he teleports behind you, and you're like, what? Hit. You're like, ah. When I saw Sekiro, I thought it was a new Tenchu game. Not enough stealth, but an okay holdover. You are not bad at Dark Souls, Lono, I will tell you that. Well, I appreciate that. I think that was always my favorite compliment, was like a new viewer would come in and be like, if this is your first time playing, they were like, you're actually pretty good. I was like, thanks. That was always my favorite compliment to receive. Okay. Yeah, we got time. Can't stop. When I'm on the first boss of Sekiro, even when I'm so frustrated, I don't like to give up. And I'm looking forward to it. I really, really am. I think I'm going to end up liking Sekiro more than Dark Souls 3, because I liked Sekiro when I started playing it. Like, it pleasantly surprised me, and then it just didn't square with what I was doing as a content creator. It was like, this is just not it, you know? I'm not gonna grow my channel with this, you know? I think getting help from the internet for Souls is normal. A lot of people do it. Right, Loot. And I would tell anybody, if you're playing Dark Souls, you're a new player, early player, there's no shame in looking up a guide or a help, because it makes a huge difference in your experience. Because, look, the game is awesome and beautiful, but they don't explain jack squat. They're just like, figure it out. Frick you. I'm pretty sure you can play a From Software game by yourself now. You learn the basics of the games. Combat in Sekiro is way more fun. I remember really liking the combat in Sekiro. I remember really liking it. I want to see Lono make it to Gun Valley. Is that something in Sekiro? You guys always do that. You're like, I want to see Lono make it to this thing. Sekiro makes me feel like I'm in the midst of a sword fight and have to dance with your opponent. I love the humanoid enemies in Sekiro. Heads up, Assassin's Creed Chronicles is free play on Uplay Store till the 12th of November. What in the world is that game? Chronicles? Is it one of those side scrollers that they made? Your From Fridays are your favorite thing that I do. This last week's From Friday was our best episode yet, so we're kind of doubling down. You know what I mean? I'm through the gun for it. It's not that bad. Souls even had a message system to let players help each other and point things out. I just noticed Elden Ring comes out right at the same time as Horizon Forbidden West. Time to make a choice. Yeah. It's gonna be tough, dude. It's gonna be tough. If they both hold to those release dates, man, we will 100%. We will play some Horizon, but that Elden Ring is going to win the day, I think. I didn't like Chronicles. Yeah, I don't like the side-scroller Assassin's Creed games they came out with. I tried one once, and I just did not like it. I didn't think it was any good. I mean, I shouldn't say it wasn't any good. I didn't like it. I didn't. You know, I thought it was, I don't know. Is it coming through? Mm-hmm. I'll have to watch this later. I didn't know she had. I didn't know Gothics had a TikTok. You have to work extra hours? No, thank you. I've been looking at reviews videos on Sekiro to see if I wanted to play it before Elden Ring, and a lot of the reviewers say you have to use a specific tool to beat different bosses, and you can't just dodge. You said when playing Dark Souls 3, you did not like a game that makes you play a certain way. Why is Sekiro different from you? Well, I've not... There's a Robinhood drop for Prime members in New World. Make sure and claim that if you're a Prime member. I don't necessarily know if that's true. I don't know if it's true that they make you play a certain way in that game, right? I don't think so. Even though Dark Souls 3 is 6 years old, it's still 60. How do you turn closed captions off? You'll now see them appear. Hide captions. There we go. PS4. You can beat the entire game without the tools. Yeah, well, and Sekiro, yeah, Sekiro's all about the parry. That my frustration in I never said that Dark Souls made me play a certain way. My frustration with Dark Souls was quit putting me in a closet and making me fight a tornado. Like I like that drove me freaking crazy. Here is much more parry intensive and rhythm oriented. I think you will like it. Yeah, the bosses that have been more rhythmic and more like approachable with respect to rhythm and dodging and stuff. Like, I don't know. I feel like those have been the better fights in Dark Souls 3. I don't know. Yo, what's good, George? Happy birthday. You look 22. Thank you. You make 22 look good. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tools are no different to certain weapons and builds, making bosses easy. The camera still sucks in Sekiro. Oh, I'm sure there's going to be camera elements in Sekiro that'll irritate me. Is Lono playing Call of Duty today? No, I bought one of my light roast. I bought one of your light roast bags for my girlfriend last week. She's an avid coffee drinker and has worked at multiple coffee shops. She said your light roast is fire and loves it. Oh, really? I love hearing that, dude. I love hearing that. We've had really, really good response from like coffee snobs, you know. Been really good response from coffee snobs. Better than I thought we would get. I thought we would have, because we did have people in the chat that I could tell like, okay, they're going to be, and I don't say this in a bad way, like a coffee snob is totally fine. Like if that's something that you're really into and you're really persnickety and picky, that's totally fine, man. It's your money. It's your, it's your mouth. And I didn't think that we would have the praise that we've gotten from the coffee crowds on it, because I knew it was good, and I knew the fact that I liked it and my wife liked it was like a pretty big winner, because usually her and I are very on opposite ends of the spectrum with respect to coffee. We're actually having a hard time getting a select flavor because they sent some Colombian beans, and I liked it, but she didn't, and I'm like, well, then we're not picking it, because it needs to get the double seal of approval if we're going to use, especially if we're going to use it for a select. Coffee snob here. You got Frickmas coming? Nice. Okay. I'm checking to see if I got the Elden Ring invite. I like what you're doing with your coffee. I am the franchisor for a coffee brand I created. If you need help with that in any way, I'd be happy to. I don't know what you would help us with. I mean, we use a company that roasts bags and labels, and it shows up at my house, and then we ship it. So I'm not sure what level of assistance you could give us. Oh. What's the time at? Okay. Let me, if you wanted to make the rest of your Dark Souls 3 run easier, run the Shield of Want and the Lothric Night Sword plus 10, you're welcome. I did see somebody with a Sword and Shield picture in the Discord, and I was like, man, I kind of miss Sword and Shield. Like, Sword and Board was really fun in the early game. And his name is Donut. He's left me a couple of comments on From Friday. He's like, dude, you should be running Sword and Shield. It would have made a lot of your frustrations a lot less frustrating. So, Guatemalan beans are the business. Off topic, I caught one of Snow's streams last night. It was so much fun. Oh yeah, you guys should definitely support Snow. She does all kind of stuff. She does streams. She does like a talk show. She does run an OnlyFans. You know, if you're into that kind of thing. And she does. I think most of the time, I know she does gameplay, but a lot of times she just does like a talk show. And if you guys have been here when I played some games, Hex, her husband, he jumped in to play Apex with me. I think he's played other games with me. I might be wrong. I feel like we've played games together before that day. I can't remember what it would have been, though. Maybe Call of Duty Warzone? When we did the plunder, maybe? Wait, Snow streams? Yeah. She streams on Purple. So, you gotta go over there. So, there's still people over there worth watching. You played Warzone with me? Okay, that's what it was. I knew we had played before. Snow's worth watching over there. I don't know if 30 still streams over there. You know. There's people worth watching. I know she's super fun, super nice. Aloha Wendy streams over there. She is super sweet. She streams ESO. I think she streams New World. If you're into ASMR content, Aloha Wendy does ASMR like gameplay sessions when she plays through like ESO and New World. I don't know. If she really put the work in, I feel like she could probably create it. She has an ASMR channel, but I think she would need to do a channel dedicated to New World ASMR. I think it could just take off. I feel like people would watch it. It's just the game has such great sound design. 30's been doing dual streams. Okay. Who's Snow? She's in here every once in a while. She's married to Hex. Hex is in chat right now. Snow White is her handle. It's spelled a particular way. What's Snow's page? Oh, I don't know. If you look it up, it's SNOWHT. You'll probably find her. Just if you go to Purple and search for that. SNOWHT. Oh, there it is. 44. So it's Snow White 44, but spelled how Hex put it in chat. If you go over there and search for that, you'll find her. And again, I think Twitter. I think Twitter and her TikTok and her OnlyFans. It's all that. So if you like supporting that, if you like that kind of content, talk show content, or TikTok, Twitter, or the OnlyFans stuff. My New World server has 40 people in it right now. Ooh, you're gonna be one of the ones getting merged for sure. For sure. Y'all nasties rushing to her streams? Nobody's nasty here. I mean, what? There's nothing wrong with that. That's part of the brand, isn't it? If you like how someone looks, you know what I'm saying? There's no shame in that. Is it safe to assume he doesn't play on a PS5? Zubair. Oh, man. I was actually watching a stream that rated Snow. I didn't know she streams. Oh, really? Somebody rated her? Well, that's dope. Still no invite to Elden Ring. Unless I did it with my... Let me make sure I didn't do it with my Hotmail. Wait. It didn't go to promotions. It didn't go to promotions. My Hotmail, I've got something from Project 86 and Zaxby's. Nope. Dark Sword is better, says Akuta Papa. It's a lighter swing and has one of the best damage profiles. When do you get a Claymore? When we get a Claymore only run? I mean, I'm definitely open to, you know, replays of those games with like different weapons and different builds, but like that's like way down the line. You know, if we have a ton of success with Elden Ring, played for months, and From Fridays is just going where we want it to go, then there's always a possibility of like, let's circle back, let's finally go fight the Nameless King, let's go, you know, let's do a whole new Dark Souls through play. I mean, there's going to probably be the opportunity for numerous playthroughs of oh, my haircut's going to have to get rescheduled at this time to offer his absence. Sure. A bow only run? I mean, you got to think of how many playthroughs and different builds and different approaches we'll be able to take with Elden Ring. I mean, you saw how many different weapon arts there were in the game. I mean, it looks it's looking good. It's looking good. So we have a lot of potential there. You know, if the support is there and the people are digging the content, you know, we'll be in a great spot. So I'm gonna run upstairs really quickly. I'll be right back. And then we'll be transitioning in just a little bit to some Lost Ark gameplay. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for all the coffee orders. Get your coffee orders in if you haven't done so. We got like 10 orders or something. And tons of tips for my birthday as well as members. If you're new and haven't hit subscribe yet, be sure and do that. I am a Safe for Work broadcaster. We do a talk show Monday through Fridays like this, and then we transition into gameplay. We've been doing a lot of New World coverage as well as Lost Ark. And then we also have games like Dark Souls 3 with our From Friday coverage, just covering From Software stuff, as well as Elden Ring topics. We're going to try and do that on Fridays between now and Elden Ring launching. All right? So if you like the idea of that, be sure to hit subscribe. Make sure your bell button is set to all so you don't miss my live streams. A lot of people treat me like gaming radio. They just throw me on in the background, and they don't got to worry about what I'm going to say or do because, again, we are a Safe for Work broadcast. All right? I'll be right back. my son put his toy Sven in the bathroom, and I like tried to squeeze past it. I almost fell. I was like, kind of like, it wasn't very graceful. I was like trying to like scoot past it, and like I like tripped on it almost. Okay. Oops. All right. Now, we will get back into a rhythm with New World gameplay in the afternoons, but with the Lost Ark beta running till the 11th, we thought it was a good idea to continue playing. So if you guys that have been playing with me are around, that is what we'll be switching to here in just a moment. And so I know some of you guys are like, man, I like the New World, and some of you guys are like, man, I don't like any of these games. We appreciate the support no matter what. Hanging out and just keeping the vibe going and the chat going is like super supportive, and we've really appreciated the turnout for, you know, games that you may not be playing, and we appreciate that. And obviously we hope that you're enjoying the coverage and everything we've been doing with the channel. Lost Ark's more enjoyable to play, in my opinion. I really like New World. I'm kind of getting that itch to go back in and start grinding and questing and town boarding and getting ready for more dungeons. You know what I mean? What server do you play on? I think it's Kedan, Kedan. I think that's the one I play on. Oh, Kadan. Kedan. There you go. There you go. It's an Eastern server. Yeah, US East server. Thank you, Silent Warrior. Oh, brother. Oh, I gotta tell my wife when she comes down that my haircut's not happening. The guy that cuts my hair went home. He wasn't feeling well. So, I'd rather that happen now than after he cuts my hair. You know, I hope he's feeling better, but like that would not have been a good birthday present. You know, give me a cold or worse. 2K and Gearbox Software released Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep one-shot adventure. Players can now experience a fan favorite quest available as a standalone $10. Oh, so it's for Borderlands 2, isn't it? I believe, but it's a standalone thing you can buy now. Okay, so redirect typically works really well, but I'm going to give you a link to gameplay where we are headed. We're heading into this game here. Let's see. Let's end the poll. Yesterday's poll got really good results, so hopefully today's will as well. We'd like to keep the talk show under 3 hours. We feel like that treats a little bit better. 561 votes. Okay, that's not too bad. A little light compared to yesterday, but that's okay. And the stream did just fine. We did great this morning. We had a really good back and forth, good discussions, good times. Great oldies. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to put that in the chat. Then I'm going to go in here and get this stream started. Make sure it's on low. It is. He has... Okay, hang on. They're trying to reschedule my haircut. A 10:15 and a 3:30. Would either of those work? You mean Christmas? It's so early in the day. The 3:30 would work. We're usually done around 3. I'd have to hustle. Tuesday. The Tuesday at 3:30 will work. Oh, what are you guys doing? Here. I'll go to this scene. I'm supposed to open this? This stream's going past 3. It's fine. What is this? I'm always complaining about never being able to find scissors. I have my own pack now. Oh, perfect. That's a perfect gift. That's a perfect gift. And I have a candle in my quesadilla. Thank you. That was real sweet. Thank you.
Stay back. Not on the-
Whose idea was this? All right. Thank you. Bunch of knuckleheads. Okay. Yeah, it's the colors of the microphone. That's right. Let's go here. Okay. I give it a week before you can find any of those scissors. Yeah, right. Oh, brother. All right, hang on a second. You're old when you get excited about the scissors. Yeah. All right, here we go. Hey, thanks for clicking on the video. More Lost Ark closed beta gameplay. We've really been enjoying our Lost Ark gameplay, and we hope you have as well. And we bring people over from a live redirect. So in the mornings, we do a talk show. So this morning, we broke down more New World stuff, their high watermark system, and then we roll over into Lost Ark. We want to continue to do Lost Ark gameplay coverage, and we greatly appreciate everybody who supports these streams. Make sure